Whenever you're ready.
Let's see. Um, we are standing in the center of the desert after defeating the Spurned. Deontay tells us that he will return in 3 days to take us to the Monk of the Waste before he bamps away back to Nahasira, and we teleport ourselves back to Ashar. Bran, Makud, and Declan want to go to the Duragar city and reunite with their loved ones, while Abrashmina decides to stay home and relax. The others arrive to find the dwarven city nearly empty with a loud fracas further up in the city. They find all of the dwarves clamored around Kaya and Holly as they're serving dinner. Ethan and Declan talk about returning to Dithoi. Brandon and her family talk about staying in Ashar with her. They all kind of feel like there's nothing for them back in Calland, though they do discuss the possibility of going back to visit Brennan's father's grave at some point. The next day, Makud goes wandering and comes across a strange cloaked figure that's speaking to a small child in a dark alleyway. He questions the figure, who turns out to be a moon elf named Elias. Aeolus.
ILS.
Iolus. He tells Makud that he's trying to. Huh?
I was making a bad joke, never mind.
Okay. He tells Makud that he was trying to help the child by feeding them and offering them a place in his school. The more that Iolus talks, the more Makud thinks that he is someone that the others should meet, as he senses a lot of similarities between Declan's desires and Iolus's intentions. The elf shows him to his home in the Temple District, where he is currently running a school to teach poor children how to use magic so that they have a skill later on in life that will allow them to earn some money. He tells Makud where to meet. Makud asks him to join them at the Mirage later so that his friends can meet him. And afterwards, Makud goes to visit Shal Ab Ajana and arranges his fight with the champion for tomorrow. During the day, Aprashmina and Eli do not have any luck finding any of Calabuz's effects being resold in the bazaar, though she does find someone selling a nice set of armor. However, the shopkeeper immediately begins packing up after the sale is made, and it trips up Aprashmina's suspicions. After her encounter with Mama Yabu, she's no longer willing to take items with blind trust, and when the shopkeeper refuses to elaborate on his strange behavior, she tries to return the armor, but he tells her no refunds. Unhappy and now out 700 gold, they head to a jeweler to get something from Makud, and Abrashmina gives up her investigation for the day. Back at the Mirage, Makud's new friend, Iolus, shows up and is introduced to the others. Bren and Abrashmina remain skeptical of the moon elf, though Declan takes an immediate shining to the elf. They discuss his school and his stance on slavery, and it seems like he would make a good friend. He hasn't lived in the palace for centuries, and the other elves pretend that he doesn't exist. As long as he keeps himself out of sight outside of his school, he is mostly left alone. Iolus invites them all to come see his school before he departs, leaving the virtues struggling to parse their feelings about the charismatic wizard. And not in the recap, but just a note. Bryn and Madar were going to go tavern hopping to try and see if they hear anything about Calabuz's murder, and Declan was going to do his patrol. That's where we left off.
I've just realised this school is totally a feeder school for the Barakados Academy. He's training kids how to do magic.
That will be a dark turn.
That would be very sad. I hope that's not the case.
Why would you put that in the universe? I hear the wheels
Just,
turning.
We did ask if Barakados tried to kill him, and he was like, no. So I think if he was all like, oh no, my kids end up there, he would say something about that. I would hope.
I mean, that could have been, no, I have a
It was
secret
really hard to
agreement
read.
with him. Because of, what is it, moon sickness? What do they call it? Elf sickness?
Elf sickness. It's like dragon sickness, but for elves.
He's suspiciously quiet.
Yeah, he is.
Scribble, scribble, scribble. As he writes.
Oh, I've been talking this whole time. It's like suspiciously quiet. What are you talking about? I was looking, and then I saw Dylan was muted. I was like, what's Dylan doing that's suspicious? So yeah, That is correct. So we'll go first to Bryn and Madar. So you guys travel around a few of the other taverns. Madar kind of just sits in the back and like head on a swivel surveys as everyone's attention focuses on you, Bryn, in each place. Why don't you give me a cursory investigation check, see what you hear.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll roll some dice. And then I'll add something to it. That's how we do it.
Or take away something, depending.
Well, this is gonna be shit. I'm apparently very distracted by whatever's happening because I rolled a 7.
Yeah, so you go to the first place and you begin playing, but then there's this like maybe 13, 14-year-old girl who gets up beside you and joins you with a fiddle, and like her talent is insane, and you two kind of go dueling musicians for a bit and you sort of forget about the reason why you came as you get a bit into it, I imagine. And so your evening is fruitless, I'm afraid, with regards to information about Kaliba, though you do make 63 gold pieces in tips. So
That's
would
pretty
hardly-
good tips.
that's a lot of money.
That is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good money.
So
Might as well pack up this adventuring life now.
That's like stripper money rather than like musician tip money.
oh, totally. I mean, I don't know what brings them, but
Probably not that.
yeah, probably not.
Definitely not that.
If Smear had his way, probably.
God damn it.
Yeah. So.
How much gold did you make? I'm sorry, I had to take my headphones off for a second.
63.
63.
Thank you.
But unless there's anything specific you'd like to do, you spend your evening jamming out and not finding very much information.
But I made money, so that's good.
Yeah. Declan, where are you haunting this evening?
So I believe sometime earlier in the week I had put money in the drop spots, and
Mhm.
I think I had put out a request for information about Kaliba there and with Fadi al-Houk. So I would just check back with those sources and see if anything came up.
So most of your sources, you find nothing except vanished money. But there is one source, a little hole in the wall that you made with your ring, where the money has been replaced by a tiny little scroll, kind of like scrumpled up and stuffed in there.
Mm-hmm.
You open
Well, I mean, sounds like you're not going to do anything terrible to me. I would just say Declan would check to make sure that
yeah, for sure. No.
this was not some kind of trap that someone had discovered this hidey hole and was now going to poison him with a magic scroll, mind fuckery or something.
Damn. That's a good
Missed
idea.
a trick there.
Should have done that. No, but you open it and you're fine. It just has an address in the real shitty part of town, the near the second harbour, where the original kind of or where all the ships are that you guys where you got arrested, that kind of area, like the worst of the worst. And so you steal over that way. Eventually you come to the address, and it looks to be a very, very small, like nondescript sandstone house, like curtains drawn. Looks like no one's really come in, like looked after it in weeks, but most of the places around here look like that anyway. You can see there's like 2 windows that are closed, and like the door has a curtain over it.
The walls are made of sandstone like everything else.
Yeah.
Stealthily slip inside, just gonna poke my head in and see what's
Yeah.
going on.
You can see that like inside there's some smashed up furniture and stuff, and then just some steps leading down into darkness below.
Perception check to see if I can hear any activity in the house.
Yep.
Ooh, 23.
23. You do hear what sounds like quiet, murmuring voices, like a little slow, little dull, just kind of murmuring stuff to each other. You're not exactly sure what they're saying, but you hear a couple of voices.
Does it sound like the voices are coming up the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. I will try to move closer, as quietly as I can.
Yeah,
Solid
sure.
rolls.
Give me a stealth check with advantage.
Ooh. 18 and 19. Couldn't give me that 20. How faint. So that's a 34.
Jeez. Yeah, so you head down and you see the basement of this place is much bigger than the house itself. And you kind of come down at one side of what looks to be kind of a long, thin corridor. And all along the corridor are like bedrolls and sheets and that kind of thing. You see lots of people like just lying in them, kind of staring at the ceiling. At the far end, you see like a really, really skinny woman and a young, kind of skinny-looking man just sitting next to each other, like leaning against each other, just talking slowly.
Do I smell Aldoc leaves in the air?
Not Aldoc leaves, but you like look around and you can see there's like small kind of mini braziers with like this very thick, heavy smoke coming off them, and you see like some people as well, like appear to have like pressed like some kind of black, like almost looks like chewing tobacco, like into the sort of under their tongue, and they're just like sitting there as it's slowly dripping out of their mouths, like eyes rolled back.
Points of egress, is it just this door?
Just this door.
If Declan were not Declan, he'd just shut this door and burn them all. But of course, I'm sitting here contemplating, like, you know, the greater ramifications of all you know, the various bits of nonsense. Yeah, I don't know whether Declan would try to scare them all into giving up the murderer, or like try to bust up the source of the problem, which is the actual drug itself, and like the...
Yeah, so I mean, I assume like you've got like a filter mask, right? That was the thing you made. Yeah, so you're fine. But definitely like make me an investigation check if you like, just for like a first kind of cursory search of the place.
Sure. 30.
Yeah, so you're kind of walking up and down, and you see like glance over, and there's this one guy, like dead skinny. His shirt is like ripped almost in two, and it kind of just hangs off him. And you see he's got these prayer beads wrapped between his fingers, and a symbol of Istus in his hand, and he's just like staring at it and like whispering, like begging for help.
He's outside, or he's in the room with the...
Yeah, he's like lying in one of the bedrolls.
Okay.
Like holding it above his head and just staring at it.
So I think Declan's going to have a long night. He's not going to go in there and cause a ruckus. I think he's going to stalk this guy and see where he goes after this.
Yeah, okay.
So Declan might just be missing for a little while he learns about this person.
Yeah. So,
you might wait for him to leave and then maybe accost him, but you can tell me how long it
yeah,
takes.
so it's going to take a long time.
Fine.
So I will say that for the sake of this, you will wake the next morning and find that Declan isn't there with you.
And obviously we knew that he was out.
Yes, you did.
Brashmina will cast Sending.
Isn't it nice to have that spell now?
Yes, it's so nice. And you're lucky I decided to not change her spells.
I mean, surely you'd never change your way sending. Jeez.
Like your main text messaging your boyfriend spell.
I mean, I have an item that allows me to do that, so you're lucky. I didn't change her spells. Um, but yeah, Abrash, and like she's got a stone, and she's in town with him, so she doesn't need stone. Anyways, good morning, Declan. Are you all right? I know you are investigating, and you did not return home. Do you need assistance?
You got seriously roboty there. See, actually, my whole thing is going a little wacky.
Oh,
Is anybody having a hard time hearing me?
Yeah. No, you're
No,
fine.
I'm
Just
not.
can't hear. See,
No.
Okay.
she
Please,
gets like
roboty,
this
yeah.
on Friday and Saturday nights sometimes for a bit, but fixes itself usually. I think when you minimize OBS, it does that weird grey thing, which might be why she sometimes has that problem.
it must be Friday.
Yeah.
One more time.
So yeah, Abrashmina will send a message that's all like, "Good morning. You are out investigating. Are you all is well? I hope. Do you need assistance? That kind of stuff."
If it's morning, probably a lot has happened, but we'll just say.
Well, no. So he'd still be lying there in the morning. Like there's a drug den dude's
Rob?
there for. Hello.
And now Rob just went well, and then that was it for me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Rob. Here.
Well, he did say.
Sorry about that.
Well,
Well. Did you
Are
hear
you
my
back, Rob?
Am I back? I'm trying to speak.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I was about to say something, and then you said "well," and then disappeared on me.
Well. Yeah, he would still be there in the morning. It's like a drug den, so he's gonna be there for
Then yeah, Declan would reply and say, "I've encountered the suspect. I'm all right. Thank you, Amishmina."
to the help. Sorry, I got
He said he's
distracted
all-
by. He didn't tell us where he was. Abrashmina is going to assume that that's no. He doesn't need help.
We'll say that
Okay.
he does not need assistance at the moment.
Okay. Abrashmina will cast Sending again and just say, "Casting the spell, reply if you ever need help." And just leave it like that. Because it's not concentration, and it just, you reply when you reply. So.
Declan replies, "Okay."
God damn it! Oh, that's fine. I like cheese. Thank you.
So do I. Okay.
Dinner delivery. Woo!
Very nice.
Ambrashmina will tell the others where he is and that he says that he does not need assistance, and then turn to Makut and say, "So your big fight is today? When is it? When do we go?"
Yeah, totally. Sometime?
Isn't it? It is today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever.
They will have organised the time, I imagine.
Sure, okay. Whatever the time is that we organized it to be, that is when we shall
It's
go.
like, I don't know, I imagine like noonish.
Sure. Why not noonish?
Apparently.
Why not? What? I'm sorry.
Noonish.
Noonish. Okay.
Isn't that like the hottest part of the day?
Yeah, that's why you want to
It
be
is.
inside.
If a car isn't
car isn't
inside, it's
inside.
Yeah, but it's covered. It's outside, but like.
open air.
Sure.
The internet isn't.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
the
I
cold
forgot-
is fine.
forgot
If
you were
this
the
guy
dinner.
sweats, is at disadvantage because it's the heat of the day, then no problem.
Nah, just the noon is when true champions test their metal. That's all.
Sure.
All right. Well, we'll switch back to Declan then. So, at around...
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Over the course of the night, is there any way that Declan could, without being seen, get next to this guy and take his money? So they'd be forced to kick him out?
Yeah. Though, you don't see anyone, like, collecting money at this point. But yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Well, I mean, if I get the sense that it's not going to speed things up at all, then
Yeah,
like if he's already paid money and they're going to kick him out in the morning.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But yeah, he's not going to rise till like mid-morning the next day.
Okay.
When he does, I imagine you kind of keep to the shadows and then follow him out.
Yeah, I might even, once he's out in the street, I might drop the mask and just kind of, do a tail.
Yeah. So you follow him for a little while, and like he kind of twists and turns through the alleys, like stumbling a bit, before going to or like heading towards what looks to be another sort of similar type establishment, like a place with a downstairs that's hidden. Though you're not sure if it's drugs or not, but that's where he's going.
Follow him down there.
Alright, so this one is a little different. You see inside there's like beds and chairs and that sort of thing. And what appears to be like a large sort of pot kind of in the front door, or just in like the upper building of soup or something like that. And you see him like go in, and there's this large half orc sitting there, like just inside the curtain, and the guy like slips him a couple coppers, and the orc lets him pass.
Can I sneak past the orc and face through the floor, or kind of stick my face through it and see where he's going and try to see if there's a way I can drop past the orc?
Make me a stealth check.
Sure. 25.
Yeah, no worries. You can slide past the orc and into the downstairs, which appears to be, it's not a drug den, but it's kind of just like a place to get out of the sun, right? It's like some chairs, but not enough for everyone there. Most people are like sitting on the floor, clutching bowls of soup, and like maybe a cup of water, and just sort of existing.
So not necessarily a criminal place, just a kind of place, a low rent place to get away from the world for a minute.
Yeah, basically, a sort of hostel type situation.
Okay, is he going to like sit someplace?
Yeah, he's just he like kind of look around for a bit and then like find a little spot in a corner and just kind of slide down.
I think Declan would sit down next to him, no mask. Well. Yeah, no mask. And say, are you a devotee of Istus? Sort of noting.
What?
Are you faithful to the goddess of fate?
What are you talking about?
You bear a holy symbol.
Sure. And he kind of like does that thing where he sort of like turns slightly, so his like kind of the back of one shoulder is towards you, like clearly not wanting to talk.
Do you believe that your fate is written?
I don't care.
Don't you?
No.
Well, perhaps a man with so much blood on his hands should care.
kind of frowns and turns back to you. You see he's like, you know, very gaunt, like very few teeth. His hair's kind of like falling out in patches. What?
I feel for you. To be as wretched as you are. And yet know that you have sinned. Clearly, you can seek deeper even than this. Can you not?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You killed a holy woman. I say quietly enough to not draw attention.
Yeah. You see his eyes go wide and he like jumps to his feet and he like
Sit
screams.
Kind of flash. But sorry? Oh, go ahead.
He like lets out a kind of like yell of fear.
You are in no danger. Not yet.
He's-
Sit down.
Backing away from you.
You will not escape me.
You see like all the eyes are kind of focused on the two of you.
Sit down and I can help you.
Make me either persuasion or intimidation.
Not my strong suit. Same modifier either way. But could I maybe add my wisdom bonus because Declan is sort of practicing his insightful techniques on this guy as best he can?
I mean, I feel that this is just a straight persuasion.
It is.
You're not trying to read them.
But it would be a 16 in that case.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, he is going to scarper then. You see him like run, kind of trip over someone's legs, and then like scrabble back to his feet, like look over his shoulder and fear at you and keep running.
I'll let him go and wait 10 seconds and then like follow him into the stairwell, phase out, and then catch him in the street.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And you can literally just pop out in front of him. And he like screams and kind of falls back and like begins crawling backwards away from you.
First, you will return that to me.
He'll like sort of cast, like throw it at you, and it kind of skitters off to one side.
Are we in a very public place?
No, it's a shady alley.
Okay. I'm going to put him in basically like a it's when I used to, I think this is no longer considered like kosher in the world of special education, but we used to do this thing called skip strategies for crisis prevention and prevention. Like I'm going to put him in a skip hold where like you lock up like the arms and I'm just going to pull him into the alley.
Sure.
I think Jade knows what I'm talking about.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's definitely some restraints there.
What's that?
There's definitely different types of restraints, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And just put him against the wall and say, the woman you killed for your paltry sum, for one more day of a sinful life. She was a caretaker to many, a bringer of wisdom. You have made this city darker, more dirty by your actions, by your blind hatred and fear, and your loathing for yourself. Would you prefer to die than live the way you do? Because if I bring you to the city guard, you will hang. And it would not be unjust.
He kind of, you see him kind of begin to weep, and you see his shoulders kind of slump. He says, I didn't mean to. It was an accident.
Insight check? Do I need to?
Yeah. Easy
one. 28.
She was stabbed about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Not much of an accident.
You are a liar.
He's just staring at you, like tears kind of bubbling in his eyes. But you see the like, with your insight check, they're definitely a bit like crocodile tears. Like you can see he's just trying to get you to leave him alone. He's terrified of you, but
Yeah.
you're not seeing any
This
remorse.
is a man who will kill again.
If he has to, yeah. You're not seeing any remorse.
Okay. Heartbreaking a little bit for the painting of human misery that he's being forced to witness. Declan's going to pull out his short sword and clock him over the head. You mean to roll an attack?
Nah. You can knock out a junk if you can.
Yeah.
If you can kill.
Sorry.
If you can kill the spurned, you can knock out a junkie in an alley.
Okay.
If you can kill a swarm of bats with a rapier,
Yeah.
you can knock out a junkie.
I did do that once, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm just going to knock him out, hog tie him, and bring him to Fadi al Hook. Tie him up Batman style and leave him dangling from something.
Yeah. He, well, as you say, there will be a hanging in a couple days.
Declan will be there to watch. And then I'll go back and catch a quick nap and hopefully be able to catch a Makud's fight.
Sure. So, we'll skip to that, I guess. You see, like, we'll kind of, I guess, jump ahead some of the admin, where have you been, what happened type stuff. So the Vicar packed. You all would have the option to be in Charles Abadjana's box if you wish. Though there are slaves attending him, so...
I think Declan would be there just to make him uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. He, for sure, is very unhappy when Declan shows up.
I suppose if Declan is going to the Shell's box, Abrashmina will as well.
I assume we walk there together, so if you have other plans...
Yeah. No. Like, unless he gave us, like, our own private box, Mina will go where you guys go.
No, he would definitely want Makud to know that Makud's friends get special preferential, extra special treatment. So he'd want you in his box so that you guys can, approve of, Makud's, like, he's a manipulative man, for sure.
Abrashmin is going to look extra shiny and pretty today.
Awesome. And you see, like, announcement begins again. Charles Abadjana, like, holding up what looks like a sort of ring to his lips and speaking through it, and it magically projects his voice very loudly. And he, like, cries out, like, "Ladies and gentlemen," and the crowd kind of, like, goes quiet. He is, among many things, an excellent entertainer, and, like, knows kind of just how to play the crowd to get them hyped. What we are about to witness is unprecedented. There is nothing like the combat you are about to see, and I promise you will not leave here disappointed. Up first, the champion. And you see there's, like, these large kind of like balloons of light that sort of leap into the sky and kind of flash different colors, like mostly kind of greens and blues, and a figure walks out. You see he's kind of dressed in a half cloak, and he's got, like, a kind of long wide brimmed hat that's over his head. He looks Ashari, and he's holding, like, a sort of large two-handed sword, and he kind of bows to the crowd and spins, and then kind of, like, flicks his hand, And you see there's like purple sparks that kind of come from his hand, and the crowd kind of oohs. And then the crowd he lets the crowd enjoy this for a little bit before kind of letting them fall quiet on their own, like waiting what they've all come to see. And you see Awajana like turns to Bryn and gives her like a wink, and then turns back and he says in like an almost quiet voice, still booming, but like it's a stage whisper type thing, and he says, "And now, the challenger. He is the steam breather. He is the dragon seer." And you see the crowd like building. And then he just yells like through the ring, "He is Amar Utu." Again, like as with Makud's entrance before, it's big, but they've gone all out in the short time they've had. Like smoke fills half the Vakar, and there's like dark shapes moving inside it, and you see like red kind of floating lights that let you almost see the shape of Makud like striding through the smoke, until finally he like bursts forth and it kind of rolls off his chest and his arms, and he like lets out this breath, and like red fog kind of forms from his breath for a moment. There's like red kind of explosions of light all over the stadium, and you see like a huge kind of image above the Vakar, cast by two like kind of kneeling mages right at the top. This huge silent image of like Makud's head, like bedecked in all its glory. As Makud, you stride out into the familiar sounds of the Vakar.
Makud is eerily silent.
I'm just looking at the things that I can do. Just a couple of mechanical questions. Was he meant to be a half orc? This guy that was fighting?
No.
No, he's not.
I thought he was.
Oh, he might
I
have
seem
been.
to remember. I remember the banner being of a half orc named the same name as the banker dude.
I think Fahad is his name.
Yeah, was a half orc.
It was. Okay.
He's a very very pretty Ashari looking half orc.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Sure.
He just looks like an Ashari guy, and then he drops seeming and shows himself
Yeah,
to be.
there you go.
It can be part of Shari, part half orc.
Yeah.
That's right. Or part orc. That's fine.
Yeah,
I-
he just has like one of those like nice little twisty mustaches or something. I don't know.
Sure. Next thing, is this kind of like no holds barred, all the magical items that I have, etc., etc.?
It's so there are no rules, but if you want to bring your 1 hit point a turn is the only damage I can do to you stuff, then by all means. But if
I was just wondering.
no, I'm not trying to shame you or anything. But yeah, you can bring whatever you want. It's up to you.
Fine, I won't use the charms.
You can if you want.
He's going to do the heroism thing though, because
Yeah,
it's going to
sure.
be his entrance.
Let
Sorry?
him. Don't let him shame you like he did my. Like, don't let him shame you into giving it up like he shamed me out of giving up my armor.
Yeah, but I've already done that in one gladiatorial combat, so
It's
as much as I don't want to lose this, I kind of want to see it on a slightly more even footing.
yeah, it's you're not gonna lose.
Okay. Good. He is gonna. He does the breathe thing that you do, and then he like looks up and bellows, not quite as loud as the shell, but non-magically enhanced, and just goes, "So, you come to take my arena from me?"
And you see Fahad, like he's somewhere between like grinning impressed, but also like a little nervous. And he says, "My arena now."
Recruit, like there is a smile, not nervous on his lips, but of anticipation. Just goes. This is not to the death, right? This is just a fight.
Yeah, not to death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I think Abijana said, "Not to the death. If you don't mind, I'd really like to have him still when you're finished with him."
Sure. I think that was something along the lines of it.
Because he had to talk Makud out of it by saying, like, I need a secondary champion for when you're not here.
Mm-hmm. So Makud, with sort of a hungry anticipation grin on his face, just goes, "Well, you'll certainly bleed enough in it." And he is going to bring like both of his arms round, and basically without even closing the gap, now that I have a hammer that I can throw, I'm going to kick it off there. I don't know if you want to go into initiative or have this as a surprise attack.
Yeah, we'll say you can go first in initiative then. Before we do, can everyone else make quick insight check with disadvantage, please?
Insight with disadvantage. Oh my god, I'm gonna need dice? What is this? This was gonna be a Declan and Makud episode.
So what is that? 21.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my ferryman dice because I feel like it's appropriate.
I had a 22, by the way. No, wait, 21.
No, I rolled a 22.
Disadvantage? Jesus, guys.
I rolled a 22. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
I can't roll lower than an 8.
I roll
10. Sorry, I can't roll lower than a 10. So I rolled a 23.
I rolled really bad for you guys. That was like I got a 3 and a 4. So with my insight, that's a 14.
That's pretty good.
so above 20, you look at the guy and you can see, like, you've seen, the way he uses magic and the way he holds his sword before, the way every movement is precise, and you kind of racking your brain, and you think back to the house of Shal El Hashemi, I think it was, who had his Barakados guards.
The other Fahad.
Yes.
I'll just look over to Bryn and sort of lean in. You recognize the way he stands when he fights.
It's some awfully specific footwork.
Perhaps this will be a more interesting fight than Makud had planned.
We should probably keep our eyes out for anything suspicious, though.
You should.
And I will use my Kalashar ability and send one word to Abrishmina, just Barakados.
Can I reply back to that?
You can.
Abrashmina will reply, should we speak to the Shal about this? Or Abadjana about this? Is he a Shal?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Should we speak to the Shal about this?
He may be in on it.
Can I continue to reply?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Because you just replied to me. Perhaps yes, but I have not heard of the Vakar hiring Barakados to be as a fighter before. Have I heard of the Vakar hiring a Barakados as a champion? Okay.
So this is definitely suspicious, right?
Yeah, Makud's the only fighter you've ever seen in the Vakar who wasn't a slave.
Yeah. And he had to earn his freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lean over to Bryn and say, you two speak to the Shah. I'm going to scout the arena to see if there might be more. I'll return shortly.
Alright, and back to the fight for now.
Sure. Like I said, as he was coming in, kind of casting heroism on himself to put that into effect.
Sure.
But then I'm gonna throw, both my arms forward, and one of them has the hammer in, and one of them has the javelin of earth, and or earth breaking.
Abrashmina is going to be temporarily distracted by the conversation by the spear because she's all like, I thought that's what I am! Gets all excited about seeing Makud use it for the first time.
Okay.
And technically it needs a command word, but the command word may be blood, so he's already said it.
A command word
Just
is
all
just
the lyrics that
Makud.
Makud knows so far. He just recites the first half of the alphabet.
Imagine all of Minotaur speech is just various different snorts, so he can give just the right with the right cadence.
There's certainly like a complex snorting to the language.
It's like Horsey or whatever the language is.
Yeah,
Horsey.
yeah.
Horsey? Yeah. Anyway. All right. Is it so? It's a save for the jab.
So javelin, once per dawn, hold command word, rift of earth, 5-foot line, 120 feet. It's only DC 13 dex, and then 46 bludgeoning, half on pass.
Ooh, that's a crit on the save.
Okay.
But you still roll to hit and do javelin damage when you hit him, I think. If you hit him. I believe.
That doesn't.
Because
I
like
thought it was just like it basically turns into a lightning bolt that they dodge.
Yeah, that
each
doesn't
creature in
make
a line,
sense.
including the target.
Because
It's still
how can he dodge the attack but still get hit by the javelin if the attack follows the javelin?
it's the shockwave, I think. Let me look at the.
The lightning bolt turns back into a javelin when it reaches the target. Make a ranged weapon attack.
Oh.
So it can get plinked by the javelin.
Sure.
I'm just going to roll 2 of the d6 rather than half 4. So he takes 8 damage, which is not bad on 2 dice.
Not bad at all.
8 earth damage. And then the javelin.
It's kind of like the ice knife thing where you roll to hit when you throw it, and then it has an extra effect
Oh, nice.
to the surrounding area. So that's why it's like a dope item.
That's 25 to hit with the javelin.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's like 1d6 or something for a javelin. It's not much. 3. I'd also be raging, as would be customary, before making these attacks. So that's 11 damage.
On a hit, the target takes damage from the javelin plus 4d6 lightning damage.
Oh, so it's not a save.
No, because like the save is for the creatures in the line that you're throwing the javelin towards, and then if it hits the person,
Gotcha.
they get extra damage.
So we wouldn't
'cause
have
it's
wouldn't have taken any damage from the first bit then.
Well, he
yes, excluding you and the target. So yes, you're right, Dan. He just gets hit and takes damage.
Yeah.
So the save at 20 on the save was for nothing.
Yeah. So you still do another 46.
Yeah. Okay. 11 and then 46. Oh. 18 more damage.
18.
So that original 8 from like the save or whatever, he doesn't take that damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then have Varek hitting him as well, potentially.
Yeah. AC 19 BT dubs. Just not speed.
Okay. That's 12 plus 14, so well above.
Faux show.
So Varek is big. Oh, 1 less than max damage. He actually gets an extra 1d8 damage when thrown, and then extra damage versus giants. So I get an extra one. Oh, not bad. That's 11 from the base damage plus another 7 from the extra damage for 18 plus another 12.
Oh, damn.
So 30?
That's yeah. Damn. Yeah. Does not look that good. So yeah, he's kind of starts running towards you, like holding the sword kind of anime style at his side, and just spear, bludgeoning, and then he kind of goes like spinning into the air, and then you see Varak just kind of swoop up and just catch him and like smash him back down, and then he just collapses in the ground. The crowd goes mental as there's like a massive plume of sandy dust, and then it sort of clears, and your vision's obscure for a moment, and it clears out, and you see him like pulling himself back to his feet, panting heavily, his eyes kind of like flickering purple, and he's grinning at you. And then he will just charge, and he will run, leap, and take a couple slashes at you first, kind of trying to do you back. Oh, that was almost the natural one. 22 on the first one, and 16 on the second one.
First one hits.
Okay, and actually, why not? He's going to use his action surge, just because he probably won't get another turn. Well, he will. He's fine. And just because he can, he's going to like take those 2 slashes lightning fast at you. Imagine Makut kind of takes 2 steps back, like assessing the defense, and then the guy like takes another swing, vanishes mid-swing, reappears behind you, and like cuts across your back. So I suppose for the narrative, you should probably see if he hits. Well, that one misses. Okay, that one's going to be a 23 to hit. So 2 hits.
So hit, miss, miss, hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's terrible 11 damage on the first one, and 16 on the second one.
Okay.
And you have disadvantage on the next save against a spell.
Okay.
And she'll go.
So 6 of that comes off due to
Yeah.
heroism, and then the
So, I mean,
other
it might-
21 is halved. So 10 damage.
Yeah, it might be easier if I just -6, or do you roll it each turn, or is it 6 each turn?
It's 6 each turn. It's a
Okay.
reoccurring 6 additional.
So we just damage
temporary hit points.
-6. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Not from each attack. It's just
In
over the
total,
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but could I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I'm not having an easy time remembering where we know this guy from. Was he from the mansion that we like?
So you don't know this guy. You recognize his fighting style,
Okay.
which is that of Barakados, which you've seen. Yeah, so you're like, they have a very specific way of fighting because they're battle mages, right? It's the kind of thing where like you see a Witcher and you're like, oh fuck, that's a Witcher.
I misunderstood you. I thought that like one of the guys that we thought we had killed was still alive. Okay.
No, you've never seen this guy. Yeah.
Just trained, and he shares the same name as the evil bank dude, or the first name.
Pure coincidence. It's a very common name in the show.
Sure. So Makut like spins following this guy as he sort of night crawlers his way around him, and the javelin probably cast aside at some point while he was running, but like Makut is just following him, and he has his just arm outstretched, and the hammer does the whole sort of rumbling in the dust thing, and then comes soaring back to him, and as it like connects into his hand, he's gonna uppercut him.
Love it.
Whatever position he's in.
Yeah. And
Ideally.
I just imagine the sand like billowing around the hammer as it flies towards your hand. Dope.
First one misses, but I will aim to do slightly better. And yep, the next one is a 26. So it comes and he swings, but obviously he was telegraphing that swing too much, and the guy spins out of that, and then Makud like brings it into both hands and brings it down on top of him with alarming speed. So that is just the 2d6 plus 12 that I get from my modifiers. 7, 19.
19.
Oh, I forgot I had Great Weapon Master. But he's got high armor anyway.
Yeah.
No, that it already hit. That was the damage.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
It's okay. That was both my attacks. And yeah. So he gives him like a heavy blow, possibly knocks him to the side a bit.
Yeah.
And then kind of just circles him.
He's not as big as you, so he like you hit him and he like goes, but he rolls out of it. Like jumps back to his feet. And like holds out his hand, and there's just this blast of freezing air, like straight from his hand, like the breath of some northern dragon. Make a con save.
Sure. Scarab of Protection gives me advantage against spell saves. That's a natural 20.
Fuck.
That is a 30 con save. That went up from a 12. It went up for a 22 technically.
You roll
and then up to 30.
just a regular roll because you should have disadvantage.
Should I? Sorry, yes, because of this thing. Yes, my original one was 12,
yes.
so it was a 22.
Still succeeds. You take 18 cold damage from a kind of bloody cold. 18 cold damage as it just like slams into you, and you feel like your fur kind of like taking on the like rime kind of like cold, kind of almost like dusty quality, and you have to like shake off. And there's this like white snow and frost that kind of pours off you and then like evaporates in midair in the noon sun, in the hottest time of the year in a shower. You see this dude is like sweating. He's dying. And you see his eyes go a little wide when that has just straight frozen you solid.
Refreshing. You know, we should hire you to stand in the corner and keep us cool.
He has no response to that. He's like breathing very heavily. He looks pretty beaten up.
I don't know. Let's go all out. Mac like closes the distance. He's gonna go reckless, and he's gonna Great Weapon Master. Can I Great Weapon Master with my horns? Just smash him real hard. If not, I'll just use the hammer.
Oh, why not? Go on.
So initial horn charge. That misses. Oh no, reckless. That's a crit. Okay. Horn attack. 6 plus 9. So that's 15, and then I get 2 additional dice from my double brutal critical.
No crits ever, like all crits all the time.
Yeah. It's why I don't mind giving Dan stuff that boosts his crit damage, because he gets to use it once a campaign, and that's fine.
Sorry, that's another 10 damage on top of whatever I did. 15 plus 10, 25 damage. That wasn't counting the Great Weapon Master Horn thing, so technically 35, I guess.
Yeah. He is now very much bloodied.
And then he's gonna reckless follow up with the hammer. His armor was 19, right?
Yeah.
With advantage, I rolled an 18.
Ooh.
I got like a 1 and a 4.
So you just like smash him backwards
That
and
goes
bring down
well.
your hammer, and he like goes flying, but just has the wherewithal to like roll out from under the fall of your hammer blow. Kind of eyes wide, like, you know, he's got the oh fuck look on his face.
Yeah, he just nutted him hard enough to kill 3 normal people.
Yeah.
So
Very much. And he will kind of like look around, look up, and like hold his hand up. He's like kind of trying to like circle around you, hold one hand up, like clench the fist, and you see like shadow falls over you, and the heat like immediately you feel it like dissipate as above you, and around you, just this huge sphere of cloud, like rumbling and like bits of sand and rock like smashing up into you, but it's a strength save.
Nobody ever thinks to make Makud roll an intelligence saving throw?
I do all the time, but that's how you take Makud out of a fight for the entire thing, and then
Yeah.
have to DM bullshit your way into letting Dan play. Not that I have any
Yeah, that's-
experience with that.
Only fun, like for a few sessions. If it's a one-on-one thing, it wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
Dan
Makud might still
or
be
Makud.
alive by the time he's finished wailing
it's
on
fine.
him.
Barakados have slow. He'll be fine.
With strength save with advantage, I've just entirely forgotten what I'm rolling, so I'm gonna roll again.
Strength.
That was strength save 16 plus 11 for
Yeah,
27.
you succeed, take no damage, but he's going to use his bonus action to send a bolt of lightning at you. It's a 21 to hit. Oh, he has advantage, doesn't he? That's okay. 21 to
Yes.
hit.
You already hit with that, so.
Yeah, I was seeing if I could get a crit. You took 12 lightning damage.
Cool.
We're going to pause the fight there. We're doing
Sure.
like a multi-scene dealio. Declan, make me an investigation check, please.
As I'm leaving, could I try to get a look at Abujano to see if there's any inkling of foul play on his part? Does he expect
Yeah,
that
sure.
something...
You can make a quick insight then. Insight?
22.
22. He is enthralled by the fight, cheering at every big move. You know, like basically leaning over the balcony, slightly dangerously. You see like one of his like personal guards is like standing near him with like a hand close to him to catch him in case he falls, because
Right.
he's like that animated. You just think he loves the sport.
Not a man who is cautious of impending danger.
Not really, no. No.
Then
he's- that's wrong.
Okay.
So
Okay,
yeah, make me an investigation check just as you like head down.
I think once I get out of line of sight, I would go invisible.
Sure.
But that is a 28.
28. Okay. So you head down like a couple flights of stairs, and like near the top, you see a figure that immediately catches your eyes because they're kind of standing in the shadow, like underneath an awning, leaning against a pillar, watching the fight, not moving at all, just like staring down. They're muscular but kind of old, like, or not old, but like middle-aged, definitely like past their prime. He's like this, you know, he's got like a bit of a beard. He looks Ashari, but his like hair's going a bit white. And he appears to be like blind in one eye. It's kind of white. But you see, he's wearing armor, and he's got a longsword at his side that is just like the longsword that the guy in the fight is using. And on his shoulder, you just see this kind of phoenix mark that all Barakados you have seen have had on their shoulders.
How quickly can I like get a count of the number of Brachydos in the?
So with that check, he's the only one.
Okay.
And you've never seen an old Barakados.
Right. Okay. If you want to pause me there, that's fine. You
Sure.
can do.
Yeah,
Brennan.
Mina and Bryn, what are you guys doing quickly?
Bryn's gonna kind of start watching the fight and kind of watch how easily it looks like the champion is getting his ass kicked by Makud. And she's gonna be like, I think someone should ask for their money back.
Perhaps. Can I incite the Barakados champions fighting to see if maybe he's putting on for Makud some? But is he like overselling things?
Yeah.
Maybe. That's a 2022.
You don't think so, and you can't imagine a Barakados ever like taking fight lying down. You just think that no matter how good a fighter you are, if Makud hits you with a hammer, you're going to fall over, and that's just sort of how it works. And like, you know, the guy's putting up a better fight than most people you've seen Makud fight. But
Well, I would hope so, considering what he probably cost. Abrashmina is going to kind of get up to stand next to Abjana and is going to say, "Where did you find him?" Here, like,
Yeah.
clapping for for his own cheers.
And Abajana like doesn't look at you. He says, "What do you mean? I found him at the academy."
The Barakados Academy?
Of course.
Did not realize that you have decided to hire a champion.
Well,
Is that common in the Bakar? Doesn't seem very fair.
He shrugs. Why does it have to be fair? All that matters is I put on a good show, and this is a good show.
I suppose it is better than hiring slaves or buying slaves to.
He seems like
fight?
completely uninterested in what he's saying, and he says like, yes, of course. But he's like jumping up and down at the fighting still.
Sure, he has let this Barakados kill many a slave.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
probably. Doesn't seem very sporting to have a Barakados champion.
Well, that is the business I'm in. Sport is secondary to the entertainment.
That is unfortunate.
And I think back to Makud.
So Makud, I mean, there's like a ball of lightning, which I don't think is a spell he's seen before, but you know, he shrugged off the worst of it. He is going to attempt to grab the guy and shove him into the ball of lightning.
Okay.
So
Grapple check.
grapple check.
Oh, you rolled real bad.
28.
You just grab him by the shoulders and fling him bodily. And he just
Yeah,
disappears into the storm.
So yeah, Makud is gonna like grab him, throw him into that ball. I imagine it, you know, it's larger than Makud and it's hovering somewhere like 10 feet away or something. So he does that, and he's just gonna throw the hammer after him to try and like hit him out the other side of the cloud. I don't know if you want me to make. He'll roll recklessly, probably because he can't see the target or something to even it out.
You can still see him.
Okay.
Or it doesn't say you can't see him. It's difficult terrain. But
Right.
If
Okay.
you're in the spear, you have disadvantage on checks made to listen. But I think you can somehow still see.
Okay, so it's kind of like a not so opaque storm that's kind of whirling
Yeah.
around, and you get to see them slightly. Yeah, so he basically tries to tee him up, and then follows the hammer, just slings it side sling kind of to follow after him, and that like hits for like a 28.
Oof.
Um,
Yeah.
So Another throw. 19, because I rolled poor on the damage. Right. Yeah.
He's looking real rough, but is that your turn, sorry? Or do
Yeah,
you have another?
so
Okay.
he was basically going to just turn and like growl and kind of do the, the dragging the hoof through the dust kind of maneuver, like he's about to ready to charge to hit this guy as he lands on the other side.
Yeah. And you see he just like he looks bad and he's limping. He gets to his feet, and I mean, he won't take any damage from the storm.
No, I know, but Maku doesn't know that.
It's cool though. All you've done though is make him look real cool, because like he's like being buffeted, his hat blows off, the long hair like kind of fluttering around. Like, yeah, he looks dope. And he like holds out a hand and closes it, and he disappears from sight. And then with his bonus action, lightning bolt at you from the sphere.
If he disappears from sight, did he go invisible?
Yes, but I can't, like, I'm looking on D&D Beyond and it doesn't say it's concentration, the storm sphere.
Storm sphere is pretty sure concentration.
That's what I thought. It doesn't say it in the spell anywhere I can see.
Let's see.
Oh, is that little C? Yeah, it is. Okay, then
Yeah.
he doesn't go
Okay.
invisible then. I see. It doesn't say concentration. It's just got a little picture thing.
Yeah, it's got the little C.
Yeah. Okay, then he will.
He can pull both of your.
Pardon?
Or are you saying he does something different?
Yeah, he's not going to go invisible.
I see.
So there's a natural 19 to hit you, Makud. 24.
Yes. So he charges back in.
No, this is with the storm still.
Okay, yeah.
17 lightning damage. And then he's charging back in. Like, he's been told you're not gonna kill him, so he's not gonna like back down. 21 to hit and 27 to hit.
Hit.
Come on, let's get some big damage. That's not great. 16 on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, 22 on the second one. 38 all up. -6 and then halved, obviously.
The storm took away the 6.
Of course.
So I took 11 from the storm, 27, and then another 19 from his attacks, I believe. 30, 46 damage total.
That's not a bad turn.
46 in total is what the damage you've done totally to me. Sorry. You did about 30 of it in that turn,
Yeah.
to be honest. Ish.
Yeah.
Makud is going to... Makud is going to go, you have a lot of pretty tricks. How about this one? And he's going to smash the hammer, strike Varag. I think like into his own, like maybe like into his own fist, like he pounds the
Ooh.
top of it, and it goes boom, 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 boom. And I'm going to. Oh, it says strike ground, but it says each creature of choice within 60 feet makes a DC 15 con save or is stunned for a minute. Repeat at the end of every turn.
He crit.
Again.
Yeah.
What effect did you just use, Dan?
Shockwave.
Is that from the mall?
Yeah.
Yes. The dwarves gave me Whelm, basically. The hammer, the giant
Yeah.
hammer.
That was the power of the hammer, yeah.
Yeah, once per dawn, I can do a 60-foot
So the
DC 15 con save.
guy
stun.
like Fahad like
It's never worked, I
Yeah.
think, so far.
Fahad like stumbles back and clutches his head, but he shakes it off, and you can see there's probably like a little bit of blood like pouring from one ear to mix with all the other blood that's just kind of covering all of him. And we'll back to Declan.
So, insight check on this guy. Does he seem ready for action?
Mhm.
That's 24.
This guy isn't ready for action. You think he's
relaxed.
He's relaxed, yeah. But he mostly looks like he's watching with interest.
Okay.
But he doesn't look pleased.
Okay. I'm going to put my mask on, still invisible, and if I can get like behind the pillar he's leaning on, and just speak and I'm not a ventriloquist, but do my best ventriloquism to sort of like make the voice appear as close to him as possible.
Yeah.
Like, kind of just on my shoulder. And just say, I haven't known many, but I've never known any gray-haired barracudos.
Immediately, he like spins around like a knife drawn from somewhere, and he's like looking around, and you see a couple people glance at him.
There's
Then
no need for that, friend.
he kind of, the knife has a ring, and he kind of like spins it and flicks it back into the scab and leans back against the pillar. And he says, I have not known many disembodied voices.
It's my experience that most voices have bodies. Tell me, when did the barracudos begin sending soldiers to the Vakar?
Every barracudos soldier is free to pursue whichever means they wish.
And you look so very disappointed at the performance of this particular one.
He is losing.
A mark upon your honor?
A mark upon his.
Insight check. Ooh, that's a natural 2, but that's okay, because it turns into a 10 and is a 22.
You think, like this guy at least seems to believe that basically he knows his training is perfect. He knows he's done everything possible to make this guy the best fighter, and so if the guy loses, that's on him, it's not on the trainer.
But I do sense that that this guy is the trainer, like is the guy who taught him to
Yeah,
fight.
you definitely get that impression.
Okay. Your students fight well, as far as I've seen.
They do.
What know you of the former champion, soon to be champion again?
I know he is one of the virtues who is a slave. He's killed several of my barracudos.
You don't seem like you hold a grudge.
You must.
Or do I get? Hold a
No,
grudge?
you don't think he does.
Okay.
From what you know and the impression you're getting, like, they train, you know, Barracudos Academy guys. And then those people are, like, no longer, you know, they don't have any ties to the academy. They are just free agents.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to, like, you know, pay a percentage of their earnings, but that's it. Like, if a Barracudos dies, it's because they didn't do a good enough job, and that's on
Right.
them. So it's not like he's, you know, managing all these people. It's like one of the people he once trained is dead, and he has no.
And there's no hostility coming from him towards Makud or towards the Virtue.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a little interest, just because it's so rare that Barracudos lose. So, you know, someone who's able to do it consistently is someone interesting.
I would ask the pleasure of your name.
My name is Badri El Momin.
Badri. Badri?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Padri. It is an honor to meet the teacher of our fallen foes. You may call me Mask.
Our fallen foes?
You know who we are.
I must say, it dawned on me. Well, what use do you have for an old Barakados teacher?
I have found that Ashar is a place that is colored by the people within it. And that knowing more of them has proven greatly enriching. I sense that you are a good man to know.
Many people consider that to be the case.
And more. I simply wanted to make sure that you do not mean to kill my friend in the arena.
I do not. But... And he will like turn to where he kind of thinks your voice is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you should come by the academy sometime. I feel people like you are always in need of good swords. And good arms to wield them.
That is true. Well, Badri, I wish you well. Enjoy the rest of the fight.
Same to you.
Step into the wall.
The code.
Yeah.
Fahad is like on his knee, like slowly getting to his feet, legs kind of shaky, but he's still standing.
Just go.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just testing.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I did not know that. He will, leap at you, and you get the impression these are like last-ditch efforts. 24 and 23.
Both hit.
19 on the first one. Why can I not do this math? It's really easy. 14 on the second one.
Okay.
So 27 after the 6 off in total there. And then Storm. Ooh, damn, 23. That's a real good turn. He didn't roll below 14. And that's a damn good damage roll on the 19 lightning damage you take.
Okay, so 13, 20, 28 damage total after resistances and things.
Very nice.
So 74. Okay. Con. Is he taking con checks when I hit him for this storm thing?
For the storm thing.
Yes, it's concentration. So when I pulverize his face, he
Oh yes, I see.
make checks.
He should have been. Yeah,
It doesn't matter for last turn. I think it was only the first round.
Oh yeah,
I'm about
it's
to
when
hit
you
him.
end
So
your turn in it. It says.
No, I mean when I hit him in the face, he should make concentration checks to drop the spell.
Yeah,
He's got a natural one then.
No, I'm just saying that now because I'm about to hit him. I think because I didn't hit him last round because of the stun attempt that failed. I think I've already hit him once while he had it up. But just going forward from now,
Okay. Well,
I am going to.
It's gonna fail on his next one, we'll say, because he was a natural one.
Gonna reckless great weapon master, look to end him, but in a non-lethally ending way.
Good stipulation.
But unless he wants to give in, but the Brackados don't seem to be that way. That was a 19 and a 17 on those dice. both of those plus 14. So many.
So
Both hit.
33. Oh, yeah. Sorry, gotcha. Yeah. I keep getting
Uh,
damage to hit rolls. Yeah, both hit.
That's okay. 9 plus 12, 21 plus the extra 10 for the Great Weapon Master Recklessness for 31 in a hit.
Damn.
And the second one, 5 plus 12 for 17 plus the Great Weapon Master for 27.
That makes my maths really easy. You see.
The death.
He still has 10 hit points remaining.
Oh.
So you see him like just collapse, and he's like pushing himself slowly, but he looks like he's trying to like stand up out of a bath of treacle. Like it's just every limb seems heavy, and like the ground is just dragging him down, but he's still like standing on wavering feet. And you see, the storm like dissipate behind him. The sun beats down on him again. But he'll make his last 2 swings. That's a miss. And that's a miss. That's kind of a fitting end. He just takes these 2 really like tired, weak swings. And you kind of step out the way of the first one, and then the second one you just like knock his sword out of his hand. And he just kind of falls to his knees in front of you.
Smash him good.
Who's going to headbutt him?
Do it. Advantage.
He's gonna reckless anyway, but
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
I will take that. That is 22 to hit. I imagine basically Makud like picks him up from that kneeling position and just smashes his head into him.
Yeah. 22
and
hits.
basically, yes, that's 5 plus 9. So he goes down.
So this guy just flat on his back, but you see his chest like still heaving. Crowd goes insane. Like pops of magical, not fireworks, but color and dust. Like songs begin playing, cheering. You see someone's passing him around like a Makud head sign. And the Makud figure, like above the stadium, like gives a roar silently and like raises its hands. And Abhijana kind of calls out, "We have your winner, Amar Utu," and the crowd goes, mental. And you see like people kind of running on to pick up Fahad and like take him away.
Makud is going to be standing before they get to him. Makud stands in the middle of the arena, like his hammer in one hand and him in the other, just raised like above his head. And then when they come on with the stretcher or whatever, he's just going to like let him go, just toss him aside into them.
Yeah.
And he's going to bask in it.
Yeah. And it's one of those cheers that lasts like 5 minutes straight. Like people just don't shut up. And they're going to be talking about this fight for a long last time. There's like painters frantically scribbling Makud from like the edges of the arena. All sorts.
While Makud is asking, Declan will just go up and tell Brennan and Abrashmina that no need to worry. Though I do have some news to report when we're all together.
Brennan kind of nod. Still think someone needs to ask for their money back.
Makud.
Did we place bets? I feel like we should have placed bets.
Maybe.
Oh.
Makud, you like managed to get me just down below 100.
Woo.
Where it stands right now.
Go him. Makud is presented with like a golden locket type medal. Has no mechanical bonus, but looks pretty on the horns.
Were you using your D4 poison damage stuff? No, you never activated it, did you?
No. The only thing I used was the heroism thing, which maybe saved me, like 24 hit points or something in the 5 rounds before. Maybe. So I think you would have. Would have done about 100 damage to me in total, I think. But
Mm.
no, I didn't use the poison locket. I didn't want to
Duh.
use all the tricks. Like
Duh.
Makood needs to
I,
know he doesn't
he
have
has
to rely
many
on that.
things. Too many things. Maybe.
I love the image of just Makood's horns, like you can barely see them for all the trinkets and stuff hanging off him.
Sure. I mean, I think my favorite line is maybe looks good on the horns that you just said. Like that is Makood like, all over. Does it get like presented to him by Ab? Does he like
Oh,
Abjana?
yeah.
Does he like have? He puts like slaves come out, put a little step stool,
Yeah,
or several
yeah.
stairs. Comes up, yeah.
It's the whole shebang. Like, you know, there's people bowing to you. Like, you have to shake a million hands. You know, it's everything. It's ridiculous. It's like you've won the World Cup. You know. But yeah.
Are there like
Well,
grouping,
sorry?
like a bunch of like teenagers that follow him around? It was like
There's lots of kids that like Makood. Like, you know, there's people maybe with like, you know, big signs depicting his face and that sort of thing. But
we gotta start like a printing company and make like T-shirts and stuff, like
Like-
Makood Tuna.
Makood's John Cena to these people. Like, he's, you know, there's 1,000 kids all like waving their hands in front of their faces with bright green t-shirts on.
People's champion.
Yeah, that's someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Makood is, you know,
He's the rock.
the most electrifying Minotaur in the show. I know,
Difficult
that's
history.
the Rock, whatevs. Yeah, so there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, but eventually you're able to get away from the car. Maybe back to the Mirage, maybe to Abijana's house for drinks. Up to you.
Ugh, spare me that.
I mean, Makood is going to stay around, like, with Abijana and
Yeah.
all the drink. As long as he's being plied with adoring fans and drink and food and stuff, he's not going to feel the need to go away.
Oh, yeah.
Unless someone drags him away, but, like, he can walk home
Yeah, that's for sure.
if he needs to.
I think Declan, while Makood is basking continuously, Declan might say to Brendan Abershmina, but at least one of us should stay with him. Not that he needs our protection, but he may need a second set of eyes, second opinion when it comes to bad decision making.
Yeah, he's gotten himself into a few jams.
I do not mind staying with.
You broke up a little bit there, see. You don't mind staying with Makood?
Him. Do not mind.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
God.
oh no.
Wait. Oh, no. She's gone.
Abershmina is loading.
I do not mind staying with him.
Very well. Then I'll leave you to it. I have sleep to catch up on and work to be done.
Very nice. Well, we'll take a quick 5 there, I think, if everyone's cool.
Okay. I shall return.
Dope.
Cheers, man. Interesting fight.
Yeah, some good dynamic moments.
Yeah.
You
Like I
went one-on-one with a Barracudos. Now we can take on a whole ship of them.
I mean, I fought that lady Barracudos when I was a less high level with less things. I think, and I beat her senseless, but I think she did a lot more damage to me than he
Mhm.
did. I
think we're
wondered if
ready
he was
for
going to say
a
like, "You
Barracuda."
killed my, girlfriend, wife, mother, father." I
Girlfriend,
don't know.
wife, mother.
Barracudos are Hicks. Could have been a revenge story.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Back.
Hooray!
I enjoyed the fight, Rob.
Me
Loved
too.
the visuals and things. McCood picks up his javelin at some point.
Someone picks it up for him. Don't you worry about it.
Probably.
I am back.
Woo. I like the old guy though. The whole like beware the old man in a profession where men die young type thing.
Mm.
Just like
Mhm,
old
mhm.
badass dude.
And
For a moment-
he's played
Sorry?
by Mark Hamill. Don't you worry about that.
Okay.
We may have got some other guy for Vesemir, but this guy's played by Mark Hamill.
Just like a rip.
This guy's played by.
model.
Oh, see, that's a bit older than how you originally described him, but okay.
Yeah. Mark Hamill can play someone of any age. Have you not seen the original Star Wars trilogies?
That was actually
I
old
mean,
Mark
it's
Hamill playing
young-
young Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mark
What?
Hamill's been...
I don't understand your logic there, Rob.
Then you are a fool.
I was almost wondering if the Braccados had been paid for some sort of coup, and they were all like proper sort of fall of Rome kind of thing, stalking around the Colosseum, and they're all gonna like flood in and
I was super
Attack him.
tempted to do that because that
There-
visual is very
yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
There was a brief part of me that's like, oh man, there's gonna be like them all over the place, and win or lose, McCood's gonna get jumped by like 5 more backstage.
Yep.
See, my thing was like, do you know what? Like, McCood gets a lot of fighting. It's true. But McCood's favourite thing in the world is winning fights in front of people. And he doesn't get to do that very often anymore. So I'm just going to give him this one.
Door.
And like,
Aw.
I made it a fight, you know, but I don't think there's a creature alive that can really kill McCood at this point.
Probably not a humanoid.
No.
A dragon probably give him a fair fight.
Or a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
Dukir's going to come back and McCood's just going to laugh him off the stage.
I was half thinking some like when you very first said like you recognize the fighting style, I was like, "Ooh, is it Dukir?" Like,
My brain was like, that's some distinctive footwork. It's like, yeah, it's backwards.
yeah. Because what with all his magical tricks, he probably could fuck Bakud pretty hard.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be like a baby Rakshasa. It'd be like a full blown one where none of our like spells work.
Scary things.
Mhm.
When you eventually do fight him, he's just going to be like Rufus. Just no magic items, nothing.
Oh god.
I think
Oh, God.
C is sneezing in robot.
Sneezing in robot.
No, I'm not. What?
No.
Sneezing at all.
It sounded like a sneeze.
You're
Sneezing
breaking up.
robot.
It
It wasn't sneezing at all. That was weird.
it's really annoying because I ordered a big Amazon order of like 4 or 5 packages, all to my old address.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I can just like drive. It's like a 5-minute drive, so I can just drive down there and pick them up whenever they come in.
okay.
But my new internet thing was one of them, which still waiting on the other part for. But oh my god, is it so much better? It's pretty magical.
Sweet. I'm glad it was worth the cash.
Yeah, and it's a mesh system as well, so I can basically put another one upstairs and then have like the dopest internet
the
like,
Wi-Fi.
for the house. Yeah. So that's what else is coming. Is when the other one gets here. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
but it's great because it comes with an app, and I can I have full control, so I can see every device connected to the internet, and I can also like I've set
Every device
every
in the
device
world.
connected to
Oh boy.
but also like every person I've set up like a profile for, and then assigned their devices to them, so I can like click on someone's name and I can see like say my mum, I can see everything she owns, like her phone, her computer, everything, and then I can press pause and just cancel the internet on all those things if I want to.
Oh boy.
Which is
That's a lot of power.
really fun. And then yeah, I can like restart the like hub from the app and stuff. Hell, I can turn off or on the LED lights on the hub from the app.
I was also thinking I never used the spirit shield in that combat. I could have parried a whole bunch of damage.
Oh yeah.
God, McCood is silly, and I'm not even like using half of his things.
Yeah, I came up with a really cool, like relatively minor but possibly massive magic item for Makud, and after that fight I was a bit like, oh fuck, I could give him another one, can I?
I mean, somewhere down the line, maybe, or maybe look to upgrade something he already has. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got stuff on here that I'm not attuned to, and then quite a few things that.
What do you have
Need
that is
attunement.
attunement?
So rope of protection, which I'm not using. Varrock is attunement. Belt of Dwarven Kind is attunement. And Scarab of Protection is attunement. So those three are like my core. Though the belt, is obviously quite niche.
Yeah.
And he just likes it. That was the first time I've used the javelin. I also have the like tiny blading of poisonation that you get. That we got
'Cause
the
I
last
have-
session, Mina.
I have an item for Makud that is attunement.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think it's very Makud. I was real pleased with myself when I came up with it.
Looking forward to it.
I don't know if it's something you're gonna choose over. I mean, maybe like have it instead of the belt, and then just put the belt on when you go see the dwarves or whatever. But I don't know.
Sure. I think so.
We shall see. We shall see. We shall see.
But I was also thinking Varrock got to fight in the sun, in like the heat of the day,
Yeah.
and the heat of the sun, in the hottest, a showery summer or whatever, and people got to, praise it and see what it was capable of. So that's a pretty good job.
Hell yes, it is.
I'm actually trying to remember now whether I have 20 con. I think that is partial. Like the belt gives me +2 con, and I'm trying to remember if I had 20 con anyway, or if I've already counted that in because I haven't. I'm not sure now.
That's the nice thing about D&D Beyond. If you remove an item like that, it'll adjust things back for you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to like backtrack your ASI levels from what you started at to remember.
I will. I have to figure it out. He started with 18 strength, so I've only put one level in that to get it to 20, and then he got the book for 22. So that would have been level 4, and then we've had level 8 and
12.
level 12. So he possibly. And I didn't.
'Cause you did
No, I think I took
Great Weapon Master.
Great Weapon Master for one of them, so 18. And I'm pretty sure the con was definitely less than 18. I think the strength was the highest, so I think it is currently counting. Because I would have spent one level on getting it to 18, and then the belt has got me to 20. I think that makes most sense.
Yeah.
Is Makud gonna get to 26th strength when he hits 20th level?
If it's +4 strength on top of what he has now, then yes,
Mhm.
probably.
Is that how it works? Is it +4? Yeah, I guess it is plus.
Yeah,
Damn, son.
and it ignores the cap, any previous caps.
Yeah.
It doesn't set your strength to 24; it just adds 24 or adds 4, which is cool.
Damn,
But
son.
hey, after party things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to role play it out at all? Is
I
there
mean,
stuff to...
I don't particularly have anything, but if there's scenes you would like to do, we can do them.
Okay.
Up to you.
Basically, he would get buttered up by Ababjana a bit more, and he'd love it, and they'll probably organize, another fight
Yeah,
sometime.
for sure. Eventually, Fahad would come in, like.
Ashemi.
No.
No.
Hello?
Hello? You went
You're
again.
here.
Jesus fucking Christ. I was asking if Al Hashemi was there.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Um,
Any other notables in like the after party crowd?
yeah, I was saying eventually Fahad comes in, like limping, looking really damaged, but he kind of sees you, Makud, and just gives you like a nod, and then walks away to get a drink. There wouldn't be any more interaction than that, but there'd be a respectful nod for sure.
Sure. Makuda nodded him back. Maybe catch up with him later.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a pretty kind of standard celebration. I'm just conscious of the fact that we'd planned to skip time after this session, so there's a fair amount to get to.
Okay.
So if there's stuff you want to do, we'll do it. Not trying to rush
I mean,
you through.
we planned to skip things whenever we were done with things, but okay.
Basically, summarize, the Makud sort of organizes another fight at some point and enjoys the victory and things with Ababjana
Yeah.
like old times. I think he would say to Fahad in a brief exchange, "You fought well. It was nice not to have to kill one of you for once. I mean, I often gave the others a choice, but they would rather die."
Well, I appreciate it. You fight very well. You see, he's like. I mean, I should probably make you make an insight, but I'm not going to. He seems quite uncomfortable in the crowd, and like you see people talking to him and stuff, and he seems like kind of very, very shy, very meek, surrounded by so many people.
Makudo just say, you keep these hands warm for me, and I will come back sometime."
I will, Hamaruto. I will.
Keep practicing, kid. You'll get there one day.
And then he kind of like just leans in slightly more seriously and goes, "I'll be going away for some time again, no doubt. Make sure that Abjanda, is still alive, stays out of some trouble."
He kind of stares back at you. I will do that.
Good friend. And he like holds out his hand.
Yes. And he'll like take your hand and shake it, and a few people see that and like, toast, drinks, and cheer, and he like, he goes bright red and like looks away and like scurries off to find somewhere quiet. While everyone's like, "Oh, Makud, such a humble victor," just compliments on you. But yeah, it's a wondrous night of much enjoyment.
He would probably just have a short exchange with Mina about how fun it was to fight in front of people again, and seems like everyone had a good time.
You do seem to blossom under these circumstances.
I mean, the fighting part of fighting is one thing, but and I know like we do it for good and stuff like that, and we help people, but I don't
There
know.
is something different whenever when someone is cheering you on.
I mean, not just somebody, like an entire vicar of somebody's. Like, do you not feel it? Like any kind of like bangs his chest with like his fist over like his heart. Just like, do you not feel it in here? Kind of goes all through you.
No, I know what you mean. And she says with a smile.
Kind of feel like I don't know, doing the right thing. Anyway,
I think we are. I'm glad you had fun. Definitely going to make sure that the people of Ashar do not forget you so soon, eh?
he kind of like looks around, like looks around at people. I hope not. I wasn't gone that long last time, and people in the street didn't even recognize me. They have, tiny memories.
Yes, well, tiny memories for how small and short we are, I think. She kind of like grins at him.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Well, shall we go back? I think there is not.
If you are ready. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I may just take this platter here, and he just like takes like a whole massive silver platter or something of food.
Bacon fried shrimp.
Of course, on a stick.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't, but they put everything on a stick from the coop.
Sure. I mean, he's not that great at forks, I guess.
Love it.
Yeah, and he'll walk off with a platter in one arm and a mina in the other, and we'll go home, I guess.
For sure. So Deontay is coming the day after this day, I believe. Was
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was 3 days. We had a shit investigation day until Declan found the guy, and then arrest,
And then
and
it's
then
noon
the
today.
fight, and then arrest. Yeah, so it'll be noon the next day. Is
Yeah.
it like late into the evening whenever
I imagine so. Yeah.
food? Okay. You want us to do a time jump, but you keep introducing like plot threads to follow. It's like we got invited to a school and got invited to a Barakados Academy.
Hey man, I'm just it's a city. It's alive. It's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's one I really want to do that I don't know if we're going to get time to do, unfortunately.
I mean, we can take as much time as we want.
Disagree. Onward. So, would anyone like to do anything for the rest of that day who's not at the party, that night, or the next morning?
We don't have to roleplay any of it, but Declan would do some crafting, infusing, and then probably tell the Temple of Istus that the killer's been caught and let them know execution's been scheduled for.
Yeah, for sure. So then,
I do have something the next morning.
oh yes,
Yeah, could you wait for everyone to answer?
Makud is gonna go get the jewelry that I think may be finished.
Oh, of course, yes, that will be done.
Cool. So all done. All he has like his crown thing
Mhm.
and the incredibly expensive emerald
Initials.
initials and
Yeah.
stuff. Cool. Well, he will pick them up, and before we head off, I presume people are around in the inn waiting
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Uber.
Still the same night?
No, the morning after.
Morning out, then yeah, Declan would be up eating breakfast.
Sweet.
I think he would make a point to, since he hadn't seen him since, to congratulate Makud on a wonderful fight. You were a marvelous spectacle as always, my friend. The provocateurs did not stand a chance.
No, not really. And he kind of like scratches the side of his face or something. Like, I thought they might put up a bit more, but
I'm beginning to think that no mortal man is a match for you.
well, and he kind of his arms kind of like go out to his sides a little bit and up. Not since like the preacher, but it has been a while. That was a good fight.
It was a great and a terrible day. But as always, I am comforted to have you by my side. As I was then.
It is good to have know that you have my back too. I don't think he was entirely mortal though, right? He was a bit strange.
The preacher?
Mm-hmm.
He proved his mortality right there.
Sure, but he had like that weird demon skeleton whip thing, God. That was not normal magic, right?
Now, no magic is normal.
He kind of like thinks about that for. I mean, I guess I just like. I've got used to it. With Mina and Bryn and the rest of it. And you and what you dabble in. There's always some sort of fireball or electricity or something going off.
Yes, it does seem to follow us wherever we go. Just like trouble.
But we're still here.
For one day more at least. One more adventure.
Makud kind of like looks concerned. No, we have loads more of adventures to go on.
Tell me, Makud, have you thought of a word for the letter L?
Oh dang, that's not one of the initials that I have.
This time.
I just would have really matched up really well if it was one of the initials he had, but
Yeah. You can ponder it. Come back to it.
he like you say that, but he doesn't go anywhere, and he's in like full ponder mode. What about life or laughter?
These are good words. Which do you prefer? L is for life lived with laughter.
I like that.
And how do we tie it to a Shah? What is a place that is filled with life and laughter? Here in a Shah.
I mean, a lot of the places that we go have, people are everywhere, and I think
Perhaps,
a lot of people we know are happy, or
perhaps
at
the
least we make them happy.
do tend to make people happy, unless they're being bashed about the head by us. But there is often laughter in these holes, especially when you are here to provide it for us, in your merry spirits.
The McCood wouldn't think about this, but I was just like, really? We're like self-promoting in our own book? Are you going to put the mirage in the book?
31st century is Abrash.
I think wherever there is the ones that you love, that is where there is life and there is laughter. And it is another L word.
I'm scratching my head. So to elucidate.
We are like a family, no?
I would say so.
And we are full of life, and we make each other laugh. So wherever there is those you love,
Ah, love, yes.
there is life and laughter.
And as for the life of laughter, lived with those you love.
He looks like his head is hurting a little bit. But yes, that. We should do that.
Well said, Makud. I would say you're becoming quite wise.
Really?
I would. You have shown patience that would have been difficult for you just a few months ago. You have shown problem-solving skills that I do not think you would have bothered to exercise before. And you are learning your letters. Another wonderful L word. Learning. But I am proud of you, my friend.
I mean, Makut has his heart on his sleeve, but he looks genuinely chuffed by
Slap on
your
the
words.
sketches for you.
Uh,
Probably do a little drawing of like all of us like around the table at the Mirage, like having a drink and laughing.
when you finish like the drawing, before you've looked up, Makut's hand comes down, and when it lifts away, there is an emerald D for Declan upon the other page of the book or something.
I can hold it.
Looks like it's probably worth like 500 gold or more.
Thank you, Makut. I will treasure it.
I'm imagining like it's, I don't know, pendant, like a reasonable size pendant size or something like that. Like, but I have, picked up a few things and had to think of the right thing to use them for. I hope you like it.
She'll have to find some way to make it into an adornment.
Whatever you wish to do with it. You get a sense he might not quite know what adornment is, but maybe.
He's trying
And he'll,
with the context.
yeah, he'll probably piece it together, but like, he'll like, yeah, give you like a squeeze of the shoulder. Because I imagine you were sitting and doing that, and he was standing, and there's quite a lot of size difference. So No, where are the others? And he's gonna look around, hunt around for them. I don't know if this was all done kind of like before breakfast or something, kind of early.
Yeah, maybe like during,
Hmm.
just like as everyone's sort of coming down.
I mean, is there somewhere?
He will go over to Mina and say, "Little Mina, I have got something for you."
You did not have to get me a present, Makud.
Hmm. But I wanted to. It is not about having to, it is about wanting to. And in his, he like opens up his hand, and there is like the small M. Oh no, A, damn it. He always calls you Mina. I don't know,
I
like,
know.
choose one of them. You can have an A or an M.
An M,
An M.
because I don't think an A has, I mean, it's not Puritan society. A is for adultery or whatever, but is it an Ashari M, or is it a common M?
Oh man. Declan, were you teaching
Yeah,
him a
that
Shari
goes all the way back
It's
to.
or a common? Was it Shari?
I feel like probably more useful to Makud's life to know Ashari.
Sure, a Shari M then.
Yeah. No, thank you, Makud. It's an M. This could be for Mina, or it could be for Makud. I like this very much. She smiles.
Eyes goes wide and then realizes that there's two M's, and I don't know if there's any difference between them, but he quickly probably like checks the other one. I don't know if one of them is bigger than the other one or
Would it be better than if he got the A then?
no.
Okay.
No. I think that one is for you.
This is
Uh,
very lovely, Makud. Thank you.
Brandon's probably sitting at the bar enjoying breakfast.
Whiskey.
Hey, yes.
That's
but
what she said. Breakfast.
yeah.
He will go to Barside Bryn and you mind if I have one? I
Sure.
have something to pay for it. And there'll be like a grin, and he'll like put his hand down on the bar top, and when it pulls back, it reveals the B in emerald green.
Well, isn't that fancy? I could probably buy you more than one.
I mean, if that's how much it's worth to you, then I won't complain. I think there's probably quite a few more breakfast whiskeys in our future.
Probably. But this is thank you.
It is not a problem. You have done much more than this is worth.
Well, now you're just gonna make me blush.
He just grins and then like hammers back the breakfast whiskey with you. And then he will look down in his palm and the last M, and he'll. I imagine they have like chains on or something. I'm sure that, and he'll hang it somewhere on a little hook or something on his headdress. And then he kind of like turns away. Like this is kind of in the process of turning away from Bryn, and then he'll like pull the last thing out and like put on the crown. I imagine there's like a little latch or something. He can just like push it onto the horns, and it kind of like clips in. And he'll have his crown back. Right,
How
so...
much of the...
Sorry?
No, I was going to ask how much of the platinum did all of our jewelry take?
I'm trying to remember how much.
We
It
had like a
cost.
bar that was worth 100 gold or 100 platinum pieces.
Yeah. Probably most of that, to be honest. Like, Makood's
Just
got you
take it
real
off.
nice things. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, I had 2,500 of emeralds, and each one of those probably has about 500 GP worth of emeralds in, and
Yeah.
then there's another 500 in the crown, as well as the red teardrop gem. So, you know, if you're ever in dire straits and need some money, you can pawn it off.
Never.
I would never, Makood.
I mean, it's a lot of whiskey.
I made myself giggle earlier with the image that Makood gets given the 2 M's and gets really upset because he thinks that he's been given 2 W's by accident.
He doesn't even know
And then,
that
yeah,
letter.
and then I realised that he doesn't know W, and that made me giggle even more.
What is this? What have you made me? This is not what I asked for.
This is the wrong scribble.
This scribble has no meaning to me.
What is this gibberish? Alright, well, does anyone else have anything they would like to do in the time between the fight and teleporting?
Is there any point in going to go speak to Barakados or Ios's school thing? Is that just a hand wave situation, or?
I mean, there's stuff to do, for sure. It's up to you guys.
Rich character development.
Well, Declan would certainly, we could say hand wave this, but Declan would certainly share with everybody that he met with Badriel Mamin.
Yeah.
So that if we decided we wanted to go hear what he has to say, I mean, he would of course say not super happy about the idea of hiring a bunch of murderers, but blah 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 blah.
I don't think that was what. Well, I suppose that was the intention.
We've been batted around, and that's certainly he seems to want to sell us swords. So that he would express his desire to not have to do that, but he's not going to take the option away from everybody else. You know.
I do not think that we have anything to hire them for. Before, well, obviously not before the monk thing, but there is the matter of the Barakados ship. Are we going to do anything about that before we do our downtime thing? I don't know if I should be talking in character or not. Or is that going to be like something to put a pin in until after we come back from the time jump?
Well, out of character, I definitely don't think it's the kind of thing we want to do and then bounce, because there will be major.
Yeah.
And we still don't totally understand what's happening with the Six Eyes and the people coming after them. Like, if we're just, and Declan has been told, like, it'd be best if you guys chill out for a bit, in terms of the wasp's nest that is the city.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where his head is at. Like, maybe it's time to focus on some other things for a while and come back to it.
Okay. So basically it's just like Monk of the Waste stuff and then time jump stuff, I guess.
Beach episode.
Okay.
Sure. Beach episode.
Or Ski Lodge episode.
Yep.
It was just like, Rob said there was going to be no new threads, but then he introduced Barakados giving us an invitation, then introduced Moon Elf giving us an invitation to do things. So it's kind of like, well, are we time jumping? But okay.
I mean, neither of those are really threads. You can go see the school and you can get shown around the school, or you could go hire some Barakados.
I get the impression that unless we do something that majorly changes the landscape, like, those options will still be there for us as players.
It's there. So yeah, like, out
Okay.
of character, the school is just, something for you guys. It almost like a retirement plan or something, like, it's something you guys can maybe, if you wanted to, like, look at doing once your life of adventuring is over, or it's just something there
Ah,
to
screw that. That's
interest.
good to handle that.
And then, yeah, similarly, like, you guys had mentioned purchasing Barracudos, but we've never actually, had that kind of interaction with Barracudos, or a non-violent interaction with Barracudos. So I figured, like, this would be a good opportunity to have that as an option for when it comes up. Now you know someone who you can contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
we know a guy.
You do indeed. So, if there's nothing else you would like to do, at noon-ish, probably 10 minutes late, Deontay appears outside the Mirage, kind of steps inside and greets you all.
You're 10 minutes late.
My apologies, he says, going over to the bar and ordering a whiskey.
It's all right, I suppose. How are you, Deontay?
Yes, I'm well. Glad all that spurned nonsense is dealt with.
Yes.
And he'll, like, throw back a shot, put it aside. Well, you two, or you lot, have a date with a crusty old monk, I believe.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm ready if you are.
Barashmina will nod.
As far as you know, is there any cause for fear? Any reason we might need to prepare? For combat or for anything else?
Deontay shakes his head. And he says, I mean, aside from the fact that you're going into the desert, nah, you'll be fine. He has barely moved, as far as I've seen, so I doubt anything dangerous will happen.
We go out there's scores of sandworms just writhing outside off his mountain.
Sick of Makud.
Cue like thunderstruck.
Yeah.
The
Defo.
coot sword like leaping off and
Oh, man.
in the background.
I love that.
Immigrant song starts playing.
Mhm.
Maku just playing whack-a-mole with sandworms. But yeah, Deontay will kind of take you in a hand circle cute ring. Are you taking any of your friends with you? Eli's probably busy. Madara is around if you want to take her. Up to you.
If we're not expecting trouble.
Yeah, you're not. So is that a yes to taking her or no? Sorry.
We can ask. I mean, she doesn't like to go out in the desert.
She's happy to come.
All right.
She doesn't really do much.
okay.
She's kind of feeling a bit quarantined.
Okay, well, she can come with us
Thank you.
that way. Okay. But you
Um,
gotta stretch your legs.
yeah, I'd like that. And she'll like join the circle and disappear, and you reappear on a large, kind of the top of a large, jagged mesa, like overlooking the desert in all directions. But you kind of turn and look to the north, and you can see, like, just in the distance, the glittering, sparkling ocean, and you can, like, almost see where it meets the horizon, like, way, way out in the distance. And Deontay kind of, like, puts a finger to his lips and points, and you see, like, sitting on the edge of the mesa, cross-legged, like, hands kind of laying across his thighs, is a figure with his back to you. Extremely skinny, like, but covered every inch of the body in like old kind of ragged clothes, robes, like no skin is exposed to the sun. as far as you can see.
Declan just looks at Abrashmina like, I think this
Abrashmina
is
will.
your number.
Yeah. Abrashmina will step forward, walking up to the figure. Is he staring off at anything that she can see?
No, he has a bandage over his eyes.
All right, he's blind. Abrashmina will pull out the chalice and the censer and like the wooden coins that she retrieved from Nahatasira's trove, and set them down beside the monk, lighting some like sense that she figures that they used. I'm sure there might have been like remnants of some in like the old
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
belfry or something, so she would know what that temple used or whatever.
Yeah.
And light it and like sit down next to him, kind of like mirroring his pose, and just sit down and quiet.
He doesn't move. He barely seems to be even breathing.
Just as a note, Declan, with no ill intent at all, is going to try to remain hidden from this guy. I know he's blind, but to like just see if, just trying to gauge his senses of his environment. But yeah.
I mean, so far, no reaction whatsoever. An hour passes. He doesn't move.
Makud is definitely kind of getting impatient. If an hour passes,
yeah,
he probably done that, like there's a montage of him, moving, shoving rocks or something, and kicking his legs over
Sisyphus,
the mesa, and
just imagine
playing
like,
a game with Bryn or
down
something.
in like the valley between mesas, just like smashing boulders into
just
dust.
skimming rocks, but smashing them into other rocks.
Toss
Is
them down.
Deontay with us this entire time?
He's super bored as well.
Okay.
He's trying to, like, I don't know, do something like tie Declan's laces together with magic. Like, from a distance, just something dumb. He wouldn't manage, probably, but, he's just trying to occupy himself, like, very bored. Another hour passes, and the monk doesn't move. I imagine it's just like that scene where everyone's in switch positions, like lying on their back, like throwing a rock up and down or something.
At some point, Declan will give up on his desire to test this guy's senses, and just walk over to Mina and say, "Do you think you want to say hello?"
Abrashmina will not respond.
Maybe we should just say hello.
She's saying nothing because Deontay and Nahatasira were all like, whenever we went and saw him, he didn't say anything to us. He kind of just ignored us. So she's just trying to, as they do in Rome and what have you. So she's going to sit there quietly with like their, and that's her response.
This guy is a servant of Vale, right? Or was?
Yeah.
Noble monk of the wastes, we have come with a message from Vale. We seek an audience.
You're met with silence.
That was my best shot.
It was pretty good.
Thank you. I tried. I'll read my forte.
Deontay will like kind of sit up and say, I have no idea how long this is going to take.
Out of character. You all are free to leave if you want to. Abrashmina can get herself home with word of recall.
Yeah, but we're not gonna leave you in the desert alone.
I
So we
was,
wait.
we should go back.
Are there any sandworms to kill? Like down off the
Yeah.
mesa?
Some
Pass the time.
scorpions we can
No.
like throw knives at or
It's
something.
very quiet, very...
Out of character, I completely support your decision, see. I'm just... Makud would get so bored.
No, yeah, I know. This is
Maku's
why I wanted to do that. She had to do this whenever, like, she had to reform Ramiel's diamond. So she's like ready to be here for like an entire day. So
I imagine Maku's like, if I knock down this mesa, he'll have to move.
Do it, man. Knock it down.
It's Bryn encouraging
He
him.
just
He
takes-
just starts at the bottom.
He just takes Bryn's like rapier and uses it as a chisel. But yeah,
Deontay says he doesn't know how long it will take. Makuta like turned to him and was like, "Oh, are you going to go or something?"
I mean, we could at least go get some drinks and come back, or
If the three of you wish to go, I will wait here with Abrashmina.
I mean, I'm happy to wait too. I'm just, we might be here for the long haul. Maybe, I don't know, drinks, some cards.
Just like set up a table over there and just start playing cards or something.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, do you have cards?
You bring a table.
I can deal with those things. Nazira has a set of solid gold playing cards. Impossible to shuffle, absolutely terrible, but they're damn cool. We also have some normal ones.
I mean, I've never played cards with solid gold playing cards before.
I think you'd like it. How about I be right back?
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. And he just goes. And then maybe 10 minutes later, he reappears, like, arms full of bottles of wine, food, and a heavy wooden box, which he places down beside you. And you open to find, like, solid gold playing cards.
I was more than 60% ready for him not to come back at
I
all,
know.
to be honest. Oh.
He is a bard in
just
that,
gonna.
he's chaotic good. So he might be a bit.
I'm just gonna say that, like, it's probably a bad idea to start drinking and gambling next to a guy who's like worships a god of purity of thought and spirit. But you guys do you.
I mean,
Yeah, there's other maces. Thank God, sorry.
we'll just go to the next mesa with all the
Maybe
blackjack
put
and
up a
hookers.
hut.
Last mesa.
Maybe put up a hut.
We could do the tiny hut.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we were gambling. Just
Yeah, we're just having
passing the
fun,
time.
and I mean,
Are we
really,
go-
I forgot water.
Are we really gonna skip over my last Masis joke? Because I was really proud of that.
Oh,
Nope. Okay.
well done.
Thanks. Then.
Well done.
It's like Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
but there's
Yeah.
Mesa
Good mesas. Yep.
because you're on a Mesa and you're gambling, or playing cards, which is.
No, I
something
mean,
you
I
do.
got it. I got it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get it. That makes you feel better.
It actually makes me feel worse. It's my joke. Oh, never mind. So, day turns to night. Turns to day again. Mina, just make me a quick Constitution saving throw.
Should. That is 21.
21. Alright, so you managed to, stay in that position without, falling asleep or getting sore, that kind of thing.
At some point, can I check his vitals?
Yeah.
He's just dead. We've been sitting here.
Exactly. Like, I want to see, like, if I, I'll start off visually observing,
Like,
see if he
yeah,
looks
if you watch him for a long time, you can catch him very subtly breathing.
okay.
But
So he's alive.
He is alive, but he's in a very, very, like, meditative state where he's, his body is operating on, lowest power possible kind of thing.
Okay.
And it gets to about noon the next day, and slowly you hear him kind of let out this longer breath. And he kind of begins breathing normally. You see him like kind of shift and like roll his shoulders slightly, like there's some signs of movement. And he kind of turns towards Abrishmina. And like he's moving very, very like achy, he looks, like he hasn't moved in a long, long time. And he says, his voice like croaky and horrible from disuse, "Who are
That.
you? Who is able to sit?"
I can't hear you, Rob.
Oh,
I can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh no.
Damn fine, they say.
Can anyone hear me? Because I can't hear Rob.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Yes,
We can hear both of you.
And the two of you have just the worst internet connections. I don't know what it is.
Hey, mine's fine now.
He just spent a bunch of money to make it good. It
Yeah.
has been better than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
Like,
And when I get the second part, we shouldn't have any more problems. Because I know it blipped a little bit earlier. But apart from that, like, we good, dog.
She hasn't said anything, so I'm wondering
Yeah.
if she can't hear us at all.
And her internet is like fine during the week. It's just Friday night onwards, like, it goes shit. Because like I play online games with her and stuff during the week, and it's fine. So crazy.
Yeah. I got like you roboted real bad, and then I
Alright.
couldn't hear anything, and I kept saying I couldn't hear anything, but then you guys weren't responding to me.
Yeah, we could
Till
we could
finally
hear
I was
you.
all like,
Yeah.
there was like a huge delay
oh,
No.
Oh,
before I
no.
heard anyone say no. So
There was a huge.
I love that the monk just turns to her and
I
she
think
just
it's
like
okay.
responds like laggy.
Yeah.
She's really deep in meditation.
yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I'm gonna need that whole description again because I didn't hear a word of it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, gets to about noon the next day, and that like very shallow breathing he's been doing, suddenly like lets out a full long breath, like, and he begins kind of breathing deeper, and his shoulders begin to roll, and he kind of begins like stretching out his neck, and you hear his bones kind of clicking and stuff. He hasn't moved in a very, very long time, you can tell. And he slowly turns his head towards yours, Arishmina, and you can see he's got a bandage over his eyes, and like his nose is kind of covered, or nose and mouth is kind of covered with like a cowl, but you can see like hints of like pale white skin kind of poking through, and he says, "Who are you that will sit with me for a day?"
My name is Abrashmina Adalin. I am a friend of Mithas.
I know that name. And I recognize that smell. You see him kind of hang his head, and he says, "What has become of the temple?"
It is being rebuilt. Mitha is finding her peace, but she cannot move on until there is someone to champion the temple. She wishes for you to return, to take up Vale's mantle and lead the temple once again.
He shakes his head. I cannot do that. I have finally found peace and purity. the core of her teachings. I cannot give that up and return to the city.
Without you, the rest of the temple will. The temple needs you more than it needs you out here, isolated. There is no one else left that has felt Vale's grace. There we go. That's a word. Without someone who has that calling, there will be nothing left to worship.
The city. He kind of sighs.
The city will not get better if there is no one willing to do the work to help it.
The city did not get better when Vale had a full church. People are corrupt and filthy and wrong. He kind of like reaches up and like rubs his eyes under his mask. Under his bandage.
There is a rot in the Shar. I will not argue with that. But a lot of it stems from the cruelty of slavery. That sort of imbalance of power makes hatred and corruption an easy thing to turn to. But we, my friends, are working on trying to rid the Shah of these influences. But we can only do so much. And our hope is that if you return and Vale's temple can be restored to its former glory, that perhaps the elves in the palace will listen to you, maybe. You are one of the oldest, are you not?
I suppose I must be now. But they are blind. More blind than I.
Is it not possible for you to get them to see? These things that you learned in the desert, are they not better being shared among others?
I was never the proselytizer. That was Mitha. She was the charismatic one who brought religion to people. I was a warrior. And then, when the fight was ended, I took my retirement to the desert. I am too old to do this anymore.
But the fight has not ended. Not really. You have merely run away from it.
Kind of stay silent for a moment, and you can tell that there's probably some like pained expression under all the wrappings, but it's hard to see. What are you saying?
I am saying that Vale and her new followers will need you They cannot be led by a ghost. Mitha cannot fulfill the role that she once fulfilled for Vale. There needs to be someone whose heart and soul beats with the teachings. That is you.
You were asking me to give up perfection. That's what I have found here.
What you have found is not perfection. What you have found is isolation.
To me, those are the same.
It is not perfection. It is just the lack of any sort of influencer. There is nothing influencing you, but in return, you cannot influence anything here. There is still good to be done.
I have done good. And with every moment, I sustain my goddess. But
She could be more if you were to return.
we failed once before. What is to stop that from happening again?
The demon god that was cult that was responsible for the temple's desecration was destroyed.
I know. And yet it still cost our church everything. And there will always be more vile things for us to face. I am undying. And to live my life forever in that stinking city, trying to convert people who do not care, when I know I could be out here living for purity, living for Vale.
Is this what your goddess would have wanted you to do? She was brought into being because she was unwilling to give up. And in the face of that, she was able to arise or ascend. She was able to ascend. Staying out here and shirking responsibilities is not living for Vale in the way she would want you to live for her.
Make a persuasion check.
Recap. Reroll.
How does a 24 suit you?
Stay silent for a long time. Like minutes. Like his head turned towards you, though he can't see you. And then finally, slowly, he kind of
Bitch slaps Abershmina into the next dimension.
fuck off.
Boss fights music, just like Jewel on the Mesa.
Yeah. And then he just keels over.
How dare you speak to Master Roshi that way?
You see his legs kind of stretch out from their cross position, and he slowly begins getting to his feet, like stumbling and wavering on very, very shaky legs. But finally he stands, and you see, like, as he stands, there's like little piles of sand that had like mounted up in, like, you know, the crevices between his like knees and elbows and that sort of thing, like falling out from him. Like he has been here for many, many years. And he says, "You are right, Abrishmina Adeline. There is more for me to do."
We can take you back to the city.
Yes, it is time.
And Abrashmina will gather up the censer and the chalice and the coins.
Finally! Deontay kind of like throws the rock he'd been messing with, like, off the mesa. Took your bloody time.
Things that are worth doing correctly.
Suppose that's true, he says, kind of eyeing the monk. Well, ready?
Just 1 second. And he goes, Makud finds out the last rock he hasn't thrown on this mesa and throws it off the side. Right, I am done.
Well, if Deontay hadn't been cheating at cards, we might have still been playing.
Hey. Yep, no, fair point. Yep, yep. I meant, I just had a really funny image of Makud throws the last rock and it's a full stop on the phrase "send nudes." Like in the desert. It's that old meme.
Fan art, please.
And Deontay takes everyone's hands. And you reappear with a loud rushing sound outside the mirage.
Would you like, Abrashmina will ask the monk, would you like to rest and a bit before going to the temple, or would you like me to take you there now?
You see he's like kind of like reaching out his hands to try and like find a wall or something to touch, and like he's kind of like ducking his head trying to like escape the sound. He says, no, the temple first.
Yeah, and Abrashmina will like take him by the arm and lead him over that way.
What's everyone else doing?
More of the same. Just crafting and stuff.
Sure.
Makud is just going to follow, like, slowly after them. After the monk and Mina. I don't know what Deontay is doing, but he probably would give him a look.
Deontay shrugs, like, not really sure if he should go or stay.
Makud isn't going to give him those answers,
Yeah, I know.
and he's going to wander off with the others, so...
Bryn did want him to teach her teleport.
That's true. You can show me teleport.
Oh, alright then. Give it a go.
Then get him drunk on the Sav McRitch.
Yeah.
Alright. So you can start training in teleport with Deontay as the trio heads towards the Temple of Vale. It looks much nicer now, like all fixed up. It's, not pretty and glorious like the other temples in the Temple District, but it's, it's not got any holes in the walls, and the tower stands up straight now. And as you, arrive at the door, he kind of, runs his hand down the door frame and across the lintel, and kind of, you can hear and see, the sort of tactile feedback he's getting from touching it. And he, takes a deep breath and, steps inside kind of just like walking around, like touching everything. It looks very vulnerable now, like not really recognizing the surroundings.
Mm-hmm. Makud, will you get the rock that blocks the stairs?
Oh, right, of course. He just sort of shimmies the rock out of position. The
When was
very
the
suddenly.
automatic rock door installed?
Well, she said she didn't want anybody in
No,
the
I know.
belfry.
Um,
So Makud put a rock there and said, "Don't move it."
I mean, history's not great for, you know, religious folk being able to move rocks, but there you go. And Aranthus begins ascending the steps, like taking one at a time, like running his hands over the old stones. And finally he arrives at the top, and you see the Bell Witch, like, kind of writhing and rising out of the fountain. What's it called? You dip babies in it. The font. That's
The font,
word I was looking for. And you can see, like, through the veil, her vague features, like, turn into a smile, and she says, "It has been too long, my friend." And Aranthus, like, kneels down and, like, touches his forehead to the floor, and he says, "I am sorry, Mitha. My blindness went deeper than just my eyesight. But I have seen more now. Seen the truth of it. And I understand what I must do." And he will, like, meditate with her for a while before Mitha turns to Abrishmina and Makud, and she says, "You have completed another task for me. If there is a question you require answering, I will answer it. Else, I have a gift of a different sort."
Abrashmina will look at Makud. Is there any question that you would like answered, Makud?
Resisting the urge to say something really stupid or something. Makud will, like, think and kind of, like, shrug and go, "No, I think I have everything I want right here."
Declan's not there, but just like a meta thing, like
Yeah, of course.
you could ask about like the moon elves that are going after Sharat and that kind of thing.
I mean, I could, but it's pretty obvious that it's just the moon elves are going after Sharat. I don't think it goes.
I mean, I think,
More specific information or something. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, from a meta perspective, like, this question is kind of like a commune. You will get a more specific answer, probably. But a lot of the information you can glean is, you know, it's made a bit more redundant by Mina's, you know, abilities that she has. So
Yeah,
A fabulous prize.
yeah, it was a useful thing back before Mina had commune.
yeah.
So,
That's a fair point.
Unless we had, like, a really serious question to ask, maybe, but I don't
Yeah,
think
because,
we
like,
do.
if you, she can give you
Yeah.
a specific answer.
I do not think there is any knowledge that we require at the moment, Mitha.
Then
You get this mystery box.
I give you this. And she'll kind of raise one hand, like, you know, ghostly strands of fabric hanging from it. And floating beneath her hand is what looks like kind of like the wristbands the genie wears in Aladdin, sort of wrist guard. But it's made of iron inlaid with gold images of mountains and trees. And it's very magical.
Ooh.
Oh.
With mountains and trees, you said?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Ambarashmina will bow her head in thanks. Is there anything else that you require?
For now, merely time.
Aranthus, you are always welcome to visit us at the Mirage if there's ever anything that you require. If it is within our power, I'm sure that we will do all that we can help, all that we can do to help.
You have my deepest thanks. Now, Brashmina Adeline.
And friends.
I'm Elisha, and we're her fans. Yeah. And Abrashmina will debate with Makut.
Makut is just gonna just sort of say to the monk, just I'm just going to leave the rock where it is now, I presume. If you need it moving, you can just, ask me. And he'll, back out of the room.
Mitha will smile at you, Makut, just before you leave, and she'll say, "Thank you, Makut. By your hands, that rock is made sacred and should remain in the temple."
Makut is gonna be a god.
I mean, they're writing on the wall.
Saint Makud, patron rock mover of Vale.
My next weapon you give me is just like an obelisk or something. It's just a huge piece of rock that he hits people with.
You're just Obelix from
Yes,
Asterix. I love it.
pretty much. He will look like, I don't know, more fulfilled or satisfied or something than Mina has seen in a while. Like the Vakar, but maybe more. Maybe more on a spiritual thing. He kind of maybe even looks at his hands for a moment, and then kind of bows his head and backs out, respectfully.
Yeah, Abrashmina looks well chuffed that they managed to get this accomplished.
Yeah. So you leave with your wrist guard.
Yeah. What's it do?
Well, is someone going to spend some time with it, or is this going to be an identified type of situation?
I mean, I could have Bryn identify it whenever we get back.
Sure.
Just
So-
thinking, did Bryn ever do her weapon reading thing on Varak? My hammer. I know we talked about it. I'm not sure we ever.
Yes,
Like,
I
did
believe
it?
when you first got it,
Did it?
she did, yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you guys return. Imagine sort of give everyone the lowdown on what happened. Makut's holy healing hands. Bryn, when you... do you touch the wristband, I suppose? Give you a bit of agency?
Yes, I'll touch the wristband.
Good choice.
And yeah.
You hear the sounds of heavy forges and mining, and you're transported to a place not unlike that of the Durgar, but these dwarves are different. They're like mountain dwarves, but not quite. And you see these huge, like, glowing archways, like, all around this great, like, circular forge. And you see, like, dwarves kind of running through and appearing and disappearing in different archways. And eventually they, like, reappear and bringing iron. And you see, like, there's these kind of arcane dwarves who are, like crouched over the anvil, like, wheeling and weaving magics into this thing. And finally the wristband is there, and you kind of, I imagine your vision kind of zooms in on it, and then you zoom out again. It's on the wrist of a dwarf in a great battle against, like, these kind of faceless foes, unimportant for the vision, it seems. But this dwarf is wielding, like, a small hammer in their left hand, and on their right hand, where the wristband is, you see they have this huge sword, like, far heavier than they should be able to wield, and swinging it around as though it was a rapier. And your vision kind of comes back.
Well, I think Makuj, you're going to like this one, and then she'll relay the vision.
Yeah. So while wearing it, the user may wield one two-handed weapon in one hand, or gain the benefit of two-handing a versatile weapon in two hands, but just using one hand, if that makes sense. So Varak would be a D10, but you'd only have to use it in one hand. Or like Igmuti's maul, you could wield in one hand.
Sure. Well, you know, if no one else wants it. But
Does Maku just double wielding giant hammers now?
He only has the one hammer on him.
Yeah, he needs to go either get back his old one or find a new one.
So it does only work with one two-handed item, which would be fine, but you couldn't have, like, Whelm doing a D10 and Igmuti's. You could have Igmuti's and Whelm doing a D8, if that makes sense. Or, like, Whelm and, you know, a longsword.
Either it dual wields, or you can use get the two-handed feature with a one-handed item or whatever.
No, so if it's a weapon with a two-handed property, you can wield one of those in one hand. But if the only one, so if the other hand has to be a weapon that can be used in one hand. Or if it's a versatile weapon, you can get the versatile two-handed damage, but only using it in one hand.
So what would you do with the other hand?
So you could have a shield or another
shield.
weapon.
Okay.
Makut still only has
So right
weapon
now,
anyway.
But yeah, if Makud finds either another hammer or a longsword or like something else, he could wield that in the other hand.
we can just get him another weapon.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
get him another one-handed weapon and just be like, here,
Yeah.
have this long sword.
Would he like Abarashmuna's shield?
I feel like we've played this story before.
A barbarian getting my shield? Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to end the same way.
Yeah, I bloody hope not.
This is weird. I'm just gonna go.
Sorry,
be a vampire
Eli.
now.
I mean, your shield gave you like advantage on speed, on dexterity defense or something? Or?
No, it
Spell
gives me
saves.
advantage on spell saves.
I already have that from the Scarab of protection. Is your shield an attunement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, unless I find something to replace the, I suppose, no. I could. Is this item attunement? The bracer?
Yes, it is.
I could attune to that, and then no, I can't. So I can't have the shield anyway.
Dang. Okay.
Or you?
Unless you gave up the scarab.
Yeah. Is it a +1 shield?
No, it's just +2 for the
normal shielding stuff.
yeah. It would drop Abrashmina's AC to 17.
Oh, you're using it? No,
Yeah.
if you're using it, keep it. That's fine.
Okay.
And Maku does a fuck ton of hit points and doesn't die when you actually get him to low, like dead, like he has relentless rage and all the rest of it, and I don't use
Okay.
half the things. So, no, Mina needs protection. We'll find something. Like Jade says, we'll find something.
Would you like a trident of fish command?
Yes.
Yes.
I told you that was going to come in handy. You didn't believe me.
It does have the versatile property, so it could be a 1d8.
I need to find a trident of worm command. Then Makud can really become great.
Do you want the trident?
I not got like a spare weapon.
I mean, you had one.
I had
but
a maul
it had a
somewhere.
berserker. Yeah. Oh yeah. You have your maul that you actually started with.
I have my maul.
Oh, and you have your javelin. You can just be like, whelm in one hand, javelin in the other.
Javelin.
Javelin.
Sure. We'll go with the javelin. It makes it easy to use the javelin for now. I don't want to leave the cool dwarf without a hammer, but also... having a Mooty's maul back now would be kick ass.
And you can always trade whelm out for Igmooties again.
Just go get it back.
We're gonna have a time jump, so you can do that several times if you want.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out.
You roll for each month to see which hammer Makud has, see which one he starts like the next arc with.
I mean, I have the teleporty thing, so I can just go back and ask at any time, really. So
Exactly.
okay. I guess I spend time with the bracer.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much that.
We're done now, Rob. You can go to the next scene if you want to.
Sure. I don't know what else to say.
I just don't want to rush anyone.
Cool. Thank you for the item. That sounds awesome. I will try and make good use of pounding people in the face with.
I was tempted just to give you another defensive item just for the lols, but I thought you wouldn't use it. So.
I have.
But yes, what would everyone else like to do?
I want to know where. So you said they were mountain dwarves, as they were not, or not entirely mountain dwarves, or not entirely unlike the Durgar.
They're the dwarves that built the gate, right?
Yeah.
And
they were.
starts with an M. I can't
Borderlands
remember it.
dwarves.
Macralian.
Yeah. So I had to go looking in the old lore docs. Crag Dul is an old Micral fortress, which is from like literally season 1, session 1 of Keep.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
The document you got about that one. Yeah.
Hey, I remember that.
Yeah. I thought because
the dwarf king with the lightning spear.
Dane of the
Yeah.
North. Yeah.
That's
See,
what you mean.
I thought because Liam was mentioning that he was going to be in campaign 3, that like it was one of the Polynesian like Gadeki dwarves or something.
Is Liam playing in the next campaign?
Apparently,
Is he?
He said he was.
You offered that to him like a long time ago.
Yeah.
It seemed that only me and Liam remembered because he brought it up again recently.
Yeah, he said that he was going to play a dwarf. So you better
Oh, I do remember
send him the lore doc.
Oh, yeah, I probably should do that.
You said if he was available.
I do remember that now. Yeah. Let me just drop him a quick text.
Um,
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played good. He played good D&D.
he played good.
Yeah. I don't know. He does better if he's doing things that Rob has to roll for, like H and all of her saves.
Mm.
Well, playing good is different than rolling good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's having a whale of a time in the space game on Sunday, because H actually is competent and she actually rolls well. He's playing like an avian female, like a princess on the run, who's like an artificer techie person with like gadgets and
Who's
gizmos.
done 1,000,000 times more healing than the doctor has.
Mhm.
Actually, infinite, because I don't think the doctor's actually healed any hit points yet.
No, he's just done like
Clamps.
story based
Yeah.
healing.
The collapse.
Um.
Well,
Anyways, I don't think I have any other. That was Abrashmina's big check on her to-do list. So
well then. Does anyone have anything else they would like to do before time skip?
Declan is going to be focusing on. So he's got his purple worm armor
Mhm.
that he's going to be just spending pretty much all his crafting time going forward is going into enhancing that. So I sent you stats for armor that I'd like to build.
Sure.
Like
I'll need to have another look at that.
I imagine what I was thinking is that I would sort of like build features into it over time. So
Yeah.
like just putting a +1 in it is the next thing he's working on.
Sure. Okay. Well, yeah. That will take some of the downtime for sure. So, yeah. But yeah, unless there's anything else like in the next day or two.
no.
Well, then I hereby call this session to a close.
Woo!